This is the MyBook.ag chat room. Most breeders who breed a Corso will not let just anyone have a cane Corso puppy.
Well, I think responsible breeders, I checked in about a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
And the guy was in Atlanta, and he's like, you need to come over. We've got to sit down. It's a process of interview. And then watching more videos, they're awesome dogs, but I was like, I can't handle this. So what did I do?
That's a lot of
down
time.
to the old Vizsla.
Yeah, the Vizsla, they're not active at all, are they?
Boy,
it's wearing you out.
Anybody should have to have interviews when it comes to Vizslas. I think, again, responsible breeders need to tell you exactly what you're getting into. And as a dog owner, I think you need to investigate a little bit as well.
That is Trash, presented by Mortgage Right.
Yeah, again, your mortgage experts, whether you're looking for your first home or your final home, these guys, no cost or obligation, just to give them a buzz and get their advice on anything that is mortgages. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
And the show this hour presented by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com, right there on Highway 119. Sterling got those doors open for lunch now. Go enjoy it. Get some of those great fried chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta tamales. Also, those great sides, great desserts right there at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Real quick, Tyler, can you give me cut 4, please? One interesting storyline in this Auburn-Vandy game, and Hugh Freeze was asked about it, because obviously he was there for it, is the fact that Diego Pavia, as Lance pointed out, has an undefeated record against the state of Alabama as a starting quarterback. He played that Auburn game last year very well, and led to one of the bigger upsets in college football. Hugh Freeze was asked, do you go back and look at that? And Hugh Freeze basically said, we got plenty of film on him at Vandy that's scary. We don't need to look at, what he did at New Mexico State. Clark Lee had nothing to do with that game, but was asked this week. Scott's got me paranoid now. I don't know when Clark said this, if it was yesterday or Monday, so I'm just going to say this week. Scott, when was it?
This was yesterday.
Okay, this was yesterday. Clark Lee, the Vandy head coach, asking about Diego Pavia's performance last year at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
That team, New Mexico State, a year ago, did a great job going in and winning a tough game on the road. And certainly, just like he's been here, I mean, Diego's was an integral part of that. That probably was one of my favorite. Before I knew Diego, when I saw him, he threw an interception early and I suplexed the linebacker on the sideline. That was a play that always stood out to me with respect to the toughness of the team that I was watching. But come to know Diego, that's just a part of his personality. So we haven't spent any time on that, nor will we. This is a new year, obviously a new team, and a new challenge at Auburn. This is an improved team at Auburn too. And, I've talked to the team a bunch about how good I think that Auburn is. It's a really talented group.
It wasn't a close game.
No, it was
New
not.
Mexico State won the game 31-10, and Pavia was really, really good. 19-28.
It wasn't a fluke.
3 touchdowns, no picks. Yeah, I mean, they were up at half. They were up after 3, and obviously they closed it out.
Yeah, I do love the thought that everybody thinks that you got to go back to the New Mexico State game. This guy's got 2 months of Vandy film. You've got plenty of film. You don't have to go back to New Mexico State to look at Diego Pavia against Auburn. You got plenty of film on this Vandy team. And that's the actual team he's playing with. We talk so much about Pavia. Stowers the tight end. That was another transfer. He's not as big as Pavia, but, man, he looks to him anytime he's in trouble.
You think Kane Womack knows who he is?
Kane Womack knows who he is now, and DJ Durkin, I promise you, knows who he is, and we'll see how well he defends him, because that guy seems like he's open a lot. He was dynamite in that Alabama game.
I'll tell you this, when I was broadcasting county high football and you'd play Mountain Brook, Coach Yeager and those guys, you'd go watch them and you're like, man, how are these guys winning? But they're just so well coached and they're in the right position all the time. And when I saw the Vanderbilt game, it reminded me of Mountain Brook. I haven't covered high school football in a while, but back when I was. And I see them going into this game, and I think they're one of the best stories in college football.
Yeah,
I love watching them.
For them to be ranked last week, and obviously they fell out after the really tight loss to Texas, and they're not ranked now at 5-3. I still think they're one of the top 25 teams in college football. But the problem is their schedule with what's remaining.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt's one of those schedules we never talk about going into a season because it's Vanderbilt.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Welcome in. It is Halloween on the next round. You know what that means. We're going to be in costume at some point.
It doesn't look like it right now.
Not yet. We'll unveil as quickly as we can. Tyler is here. He'll be in costume a little bit later on. Good one, bad one?
I think this is a really good one. Definitely better than the inflatable dinosaur.
I didn't hate the inflatable dinosaur. You undersell the inflatable dinosaur.
I did not like the inflatable dinosaur.
Did you not? I just thought it was funny seeing Tyler try to sit there.
The last-minute costume the inflatable dinosaur was.
All right. Scott is here. Scott Forrester, our director of video. Scott, good costume. You excited?
I think I did okay.
Okay.
Solid okay.
So Tyler's is really good. Scott's is solid okay.
Yeah. Taylor has told me not even close to her best.
Well, I mean, Taylor has painted herself as a trophy 2 straight years now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's commitment is what that is. Again, year one, I'm not going to be able to top Tupac, but I think it's decent. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Tupac was a lot.
It was a lot.
That was a lot.
I mean, we talked about it last night when we've got to go in and do these quick changes. It's more of Clark Kent to Superman, right?
That's right, yes.
I mean, these are going to be like 3 or 4 minutes, like pit stops. The Tupac, you remember, it took the first hour for me to get tatted up.
I do remember that. And it took not an army of people, but 2 people actually to help tat you up.
And it took over a week for the tattoos to finally come off.
Yeah, but it was in October, so you weren't like going shirtless around the pool.
Yeah, no. But no, it was in October, obviously, but just getting out of the shower and damn, I've still got a Pharaoh tat on my right tit.
That's a good look.
Yeah.
So all of that is coming up. Mine is I'm trying to get this warning out there. Mine is very show specific. So if you have watched and listened to this show on this platform fairly religiously, like you don't have to listen every day, but if you're an avid listener, I think this one will hit home for you.
Yeah, like we had one promo, and I think it was the best promo we ever had, and it was back in the terrestrial radio days. And John Saber put it together, but it was specific to different things that were internal on the show. And if you were not what we call a P1 in the radio terms,
right, yes,
you really wouldn't get this. And I do think a good majority of our listeners and viewers tune in a good majority of the time. So I can't wait to see what this is, because you've told me if you get the show, this is a really good costume.
I think it. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. The audience will have to. I mean, Walker says I'm Greg from Pell City. Somebody says I'm Jeff from Aniston. I don't know what Jeff from Aniston looks like.
Well, yeah, nobody does.
I guess we could do what everybody says Jeff from Aniston looks like. Which
do you think Jeff looks like Brad Pitt?
I'm gonna guess no. That's just a guess. I'm gonna guess no.
Scott, do you think Jeff from Aniston looks like Brad Pitt?
That's not the visual I've got in my
never
head.
the visual I've had.
You don't see him,
no.
Just hanging out in his lazy boy with shirt off, hitting the bong, and he's all ripped up.
Nope, don't see that.
Golden locks.
Don't see that.
Just hitting his hinge nonstop.
Nope, don't see that.
Just swiping.
Yep.
So is your costume a reference from the show after I got here or before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I might, if you'll promise not to, look ahead, I might drop a link that will provide some context for you that you could play, a video link that you could play. But let me think on that.
Is it one of those? Is it so complicated? We've actually got to.
It's not complicated, but I just think the video link might help. Before we get to all of that, EG is going to jump in here in just a minute. I don't know if she's getting in her costume. I thought she was going to unveil later, but she may be already getting costume. EG's going to jump in here in just a minute and allow Lance to go costume up. First of all, congrats to your Dodgers, world champions.
Yeah, it was such a weird series.
It really was. Not a great series.
And I was a terrible fan because Monday night we had something going on. And so couldn't focus on Monday night. Where were we Monday night, by the way?
Where were we? Oh, we were doing the basketball game.
Yeah, we were doing the basketball game. So I'm watching my phone as we're doing the basketball game. And last night we're in the middle of trivia. So I can't even take credit. The only thing I will say is, people have always told me the 2020 World Series meant nothing. And I think you were one of those that said that.
I think it means less. I don't think you can deny that. I mean, it was a shortened season. It's like a strike shortened season. Do you view...
But they led wire to wire, and it wasn't like the Dodgers weren't going to win that series.
60 games, wasn't it? And fans weren't there. It wasn't... I undervalue it.
Everything was equitable, though, and if you do undervalue, and there are some people out there that feel like you.
Yeah.
But I think this kind of solidifies everything. This is something Dave Roberts needed. On the other side of this, Aaron Boone is getting absolutely crushed. Like New York radio right now, buffoon, dumbass, worst manager in Yankee history.
Those are the nice things.
Yeah. But hey, look, it seemed, we're at Odie's, and I'm like, oh my God, it's already 2-0. It's 3-0.
Yep.
It's 5-0.
This game's over. You thought it's head back to L.A.
I do think New York in their head probably said, you know what? We're taking this thing back for the weekend to Los Angeles, and we're going to pull off a miracle comeback. And the Dodgers just kept chipping away. And that fifth inning for the Yankees and the 5 unearned runs. And, I would feel bad for Garrett Cole, but he had the mental breakdown too. Didn't cover first. Volpe, who's been so good, doesn't go with the easy out. And then obviously Aaron Judge, the one that really, because you were like, hey, look at this. I mean, that's one of those, they're showing it right now, how he drops that. And you see his eyes are cut to the runner. But still, even with that said, that's just a ball that is caught, 9,999 times out of 10,000.
Yeah. That whole fifth inning, you had the Judge error, which I think is his first error in the field this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I would think he had a throwing error, but I don't know.
I think I read that this morning. If I read that right, that was his first error. Then Volpe makes a throwing error on a little bit more difficult play than what Judge booted.
Could have gone an easy route, taking the sure out.
Could have.
And easy to say after they, have a 5 spot in the fifth.
Yeah. But you're completely out of the inning if Garrett Cole just does something you do from the first day of spring training. We talk about this in football. That's a first day install, is what people say in football. A day one install. That's day one stuff in spring training.
Really was.
Just cover first. That's all you got to do. Like, even if the first baseman can get there, be standing next to the bag when he gets there. What does that hurt, right? Why you got to walk off the field?
Yeah, I think it was a lapse in judgment. Just a mental meltdown.
Yeah,
and there have been 234 teams to trail by 5 or more runs in the World Series, and after last night, only 7 have come back. So 7 and 227, and that's just a scenario you don't see. And I was kind of torn. I'm glad they closed it out, but at the same time, I would have liked to have been sitting on my couch for a full 9 innings on Friday. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Dodgers get another ring. They're 8th in history. You would think more. I have been alive to focus and watch on 4 of the 8.
Right.
But I think for Braves fans, obviously for Yankees fans, this is difficult. For Braves fans, how difficult? Freddie Freeman, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, World Series MVP.
Yeah. Just incredible. Buster described him as an unanimous Hall of Famer, basically saying the same thing a lot of people have said, is he'll be the last guy to 3,000 hits, and maybe in baseball history. He'll probably end up with 400 home runs. He has set the World Series record for consecutive games with a home run. He has now been a league MVP and a World Series MVP. One of the best World Series performances we've ever seen. Scott showed you the numbers he had there: 4 home runs, 6 hits, 12 runs batted in, and 5 runs scored. And that's one of the best we've ever seen in a World Series.
Fittingly hits 300 for the series, which is his career average.
That is true, yeah, because he's right. You pointed this out, like he's right at a 300 hitter. And boy, you hope. You want him to play long enough to get the 3,000 hits and the 400 home runs. But you don't want him to play long enough that he's limping to the plate and hitting 240, right?
Yeah, and I love the fact that Walker Buehler comes in, gets his first career save, first time he's been in that situation since 2018, his rookie season, and a lot of people believe Walker Buehler's best days are behind him because of all of the injuries. And that's another thing that's incredible about the Dodgers, and nobody will give them credit because of the payroll, and I get that, luxury of riches. But when you go through what they went through, especially with their starting lineup, and they still are able to survive, win 98 games in the regular season, and go on this playoff run and ultimately knock off the Yankees. But Buehler on the hill for the night, and they brought up, during the broadcast last night, Bumgarner did it, Chris Sale's done it. I forgot the long list of frontline starters that have come in a clinching situation in the postseason to actually get those final outs for their team. So I thought that was really cool for Walker Buehler. And, last night was a fun game, not for Yankees fans.
Did you Did you like bringing in a starter to close it?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah. I mean, it's failed before with Kershaw. I mean, it's hit or miss on that deal.
Yeah, and they talked about, adrenaline, get him through the inning. It's all about the command at this point.
Yeah.
And he had command, 2 Ks. It was a perfect ninth. So I didn't mind seeing it. And I just think for Walker Buehler, I think he's one of those underrated guys in Dodgers lore that probably deserves a little bit more credit. He's banged up all the time.
Scott was making a point that Garrett Cole does not hustle to first and is pointing over at the second baseman like, why were you not covering? I mean, that was a clown move. I mean, it's just a bad look. It's like Cole just wanted to walk to the dugout, and then he's pointing like, what are you doing over there?
And Garrett Cole is like one of the ultimate professionals. It just, that was a meltdown on so many levels. I mean, with that Yankee offense and with that home crowd behind them and on that stage, there is no way you're blowing a 5-run lead. Now, really, the only team in Major League Baseball you probably could blow that to is the Dodgers because of the arsenal they've got. But it was all self-inflicted. 5 unearned runs.
Yep. Just a brutal 5th inning. For the Yankees, that basically ends their season. Dodgers win 7-6. Major League Baseball is over. We're full tilt football now. That's it. It's the last time we're talking about it. Buster's made his final appearance. We're full tilt football.
Oh, that's fine.
Nah.
Go Gamecocks.
Congrats. Right? Hey, Jack State won last night. Part of Lance's lock, right? You had my Gamecocks, didn't you?
Yep.
Got it home.
I did go against my Dodgers, and I had the Yankees last night. But, hey. We move on.
That's right.
We did have your Gamecocks last night.
Yeah, big win by Jacksonville State. Do you know that they now lead the nation along with Army in rushing touchdowns?
I'm not really surprised watching them.
Yeah, and that's Rich Rod's style, too.
I can't remember the last time I saw them complete, have a completion for a touchdown. It does seem like that every one of their touchdowns is on the ground. That's a really good Jacksonville State team, and I think this shows you how good of a coach Rich Rodriguez is. That offense was completely lost the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, and he's turned it around. And they're
beating good teams now.
Yeah, and they're at the top of the conference there, but they've still got to at the end of the season play probably the 2 other best teams in the conference, Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky. And that's kind of a round robin there that will probably determine Conference USA for what that is worth. But a good win for Jacksonville State.
Yeah, and I do think Jacksonville State is that team you don't want to play right now.
Yeah, I would agree.
And CUSA.
They're getting high. Yeah, I mean, if they came to Jordan Hare or Bryant Denny, it'd probably be okay. But you're right. If you're CSA, Jack State's getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're I don't think Mississippi State would feel great about playing them right now.
Oh, no. Somebody at the bottom of one of the conferences? Absolutely.
Yeah. But 4-0 right now, as you said, CUSA right there with the Hilltoppers. What a disaster year for Liberty, too.
Boy, it is. I mean, we talked about them at the start of the year. A lot of people were like, hey, this Liberty team's going to go undefeated now. Whether or not they can get in the playoffs is another story, but they are going undefeated. They got 2 losses, and we're just now we're not even into November for them.
Yeah, and, Liberty had won 17 consecutive regular season games until they lost last week to Kennesaw with their first ever FBS win, and then Liberty backs it up with another loss at home to your Gamecocks.
That's crazy.
Now they're sitting at 5-2. You start wondering, I mean, I'm sure they'll get a bowl bid somewhere, but how many teams from this conference can actually get bowl bids?
It's a great question. I actually don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only going to be 4 that would be in the mix, but can you give 4 bids out to Conference USA teams? I know it's always tough for teams to get to 6-6 sometimes.
Yeah, probably no, but, I mean, we got a lot of bowls out there, and they got to fill them. They got to find teams to play. All right, so that's last night. We will look ahead to a lot of college football this weekend. Roman Harper is going to make his weekly visit with us at 9:30 Central Time, 11:05 Central Time. Dan Orlovksy makes his weekly visit to talk NFL. Are you ready to get in costume?
I need to check.
Yeah, you need assistance. So.
I just need one little thing.
One little piece of assistance. Go ahead and get cut 5 ready, Tyler. We'll remind everyone what happened 2 Halloweens ago now on this show. You let me know if you're ready. One of the greatest moments. It is probably the greatest moment in our show's history. Tyler is shaking his head. You're agreeing with that, Tyler. It's the finest moment in show history, you think?
It's a great one. I just now remembered that this was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yes.
Been here longer than I thought.
That's right. So you were here for this. Halloween 2022. Auburn's coach Brian Harsin on the ropes. We knew going into the week that at any moment something could happen, and we even joked on the show, it'll probably happen when we're dressed up for Halloween. Well, here you go. 2 years ago, Halloween, this is how it happened on the show. It has happened, guys. Yeah, we've got the breaking news here.
Oh, wow.
Auburn University has decided, this is from Auburn, decided to make a change in the leadership of the Auburn University football program. President Roberts made the decision after a thorough review and evaluation of all aspects of the football program. Auburn will begin an immediate search for a coach that will return the Auburn program to a place where it is consistently competing at the highest levels and representing the winning tradition that is Auburn football. Official, that's not reports, that is official from Auburn University.
So we knew what would happen today. With us in costume?
Yep.
Yeah. So historically, this will be the way we break the news of an Auburn coaching change.
All right, go back to the start of it, Tyler, because I mean,
Dunaway looks like he's got his knees up on his chest in that box.
I know. What I love most about this,
By the way, if you're buying your daughter a Ken doll, don't you pull that one out and you put it back because it seems like it's like out of sorts?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It seems too small for the box. A
lot of headroom in that box.
Yeah, there is a lot of headroom in the box. Now, to Jim's defense, that was an impossible costume to sit in all day. This was the thing. The only thing I can focus on.
The roommate did a good job with that box.
Oh, it's incredible. Every time I watch it, I'm like, my gosh, that was a good costume. But Dunaway decides we've got breaking news, so I got to go serious face. And he goes serious face in that costume, and it's all I can focus on is like, Jim, okay, we've got major breaking news here. We got to go serious face. Play it again and just watch how serious Jim goes in the kid costume. It has happened, guys.
Yeah.
Yep, we've got the breaking news here. Here comes serious face. Yep. Auburn University has decided, this is from Auburn, decided to make a change in the leadership of the Auburn University football program. President Roberts made the decision after a thorough review and evaluation of all aspects of the football program. Auburn will begin an immediate search for a coach that will return the Auburn program to a place where it is consistently competing at the highest levels and representing the winning tradition that is Auburn football. Official, that's not reports, that is official from Auburn University.
So we knew what would happen today. With us in costume?
Yep.
Yeah. So historically, this will be the way we break the news of an Auburn coaching change.
And Dunaway was miserable to begin with. Remember how bad he did not want to be Ken? By the way, my assistant's here. Should I duck?
Yeah, you can dip out. Can you first tell the fine people here about Inverness Country Club, ICCalabama.com before you do that?
Absolutely. Our friends at Inverness Country Club want to remind you they've got memberships that absolutely fit everyone. Whether you're looking for just a social membership, you're looking for great golf with that expanded driving range. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Childcare, big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe, on-site, massive plus. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Best days happen there. Maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness, great place to network. Call today. Book a tour of this unbelievable club. Aaron's right there for you. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com. Are you dressed as a Smurf?
EG is. You lost a bet. Dodgers blue. All right, you'll take.
I know what costume EG's going with.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler knows what you're doing, he says.
Are you Freddie Freeman?
No.
Okay, so EG
will
will
get some big veneers. Okay, I'll be back.
EG specific choice.
A very EG specific choice. Okay,
yeah.
Tyler has already figured out EG's costume just based on her being dressed in all blue.
No, mine already knew going into it.
Yeah, she had brought it up as an idea for a costume yesterday.
Right.
And yeah, that's what she went as.
You know, we actually workshopped, me and my Pennant Grace co-host, actually being you, Tyler. Me dressing up as Lionel.
Oh, that
I can't hear what you're saying, but I'm sure it's something.
No,
that would have been good.
That would have been good. You're absolutely right. EG is going to sit in for just a second as Lance gets his costume on. A reminder: Johnston RV Center brings you the show as well. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. When you go to Johnston RV Center, you can find travel trailers as low as $145 a month, so you can go see America this fall for as little as $145 a month at Johnston RV Center. Also, fifth wheels, savings of $45,000 and more. RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got a lifetime warranty on everything that is previously owned, qualifying previously owned, and new at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. EG was in Tuscaloosa yesterday. What'd you learn from the players yesterday, EG?
It was actually assistants yesterday. Players will be today. But one thing that stuck out to me was something that Coach Gillespie said about the running backs. So the question was something along the lines of, is there any personal goals that Jam and Justice are achieving? Something that will, maybe the game prior will help them achieve those. And it was very short, sweet to the point, but just really stuck with me. He goes, we try to keep all things personal out. And he pointed to the wall that has all the years of championships on it, and that's in the indoor practice facility, and said, you don't get those with personal goals in mind at the University of Alabama. I was like, dang. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great line.
It is a great line. We spoke with Coach Cap. He's offensive line, and Tyler Booker has been such a hot topic these last couple of weeks. We all knew Tyler Booker, how awesome he was, but it seems like other people are starting to catch on. And when it came to that raised level of physicality that Coach DeBoer talked about in postgame, I asked Coach Cap about that because Tyler Booker, was attributed to him raising the bar from Jalen Milroe and Coach DeBoer. And Coach Cap said he actually challenged Tyler to do that. That wasn't random.
Right.
He said, I want you to step up. And he did that because obviously the guys respond better to their peers. Now, who else is stepping up? He said he'll have a better answer for me next week because yesterday's practice was more fundamental, slowing things down. But yeah, it was a good day in Tuscaloosa.
Good day in Tuscaloosa.
Absolutely.
All right. And you would qualify, you're around there a good bit. You see the coaches, you see the players, you sit through Kalen DeBoer's news conference each week. The bye week feel is what? Give me just kind of the vibe there.
I would say that from what I gathered yesterday, it's already been productive. I think it was much needed from a mental standpoint as well as a physical standpoint, getting the guys healthy again. You have a week and a half, and that's what Coach Cap was also talking about, that he's excited to see the progress that will be made. After Saturday's game, Coach DeBoer did address that in his open, saying, we're looking forward to having some time to look at things. And the fundamentals were emphasized from multiple different position groups, so that'd be a focal point this week as they prepare for LSU. And one thing that, has kind of stuck with me is what Brian Kelly said post-game about how, if I was an opposing team, I'd run the ball on us.
Right.
Now, to me, my knee-jerk reaction is that him kind of putting a feeler out, a little bit of rat poison? Granted, when you look at the first half of that game, I would too. So I don't know if that's, been taken into account in any factor, if we'll see Jalen using his legs a little more, or if he'll continue to try and, use his arms a little more.
So you were also, let's go to cuts 1 and 2, Tyler, because you were also at the Monday Morning Quarterback Club.
I was.
That's where you started your week, the Monday Morning Quarterback Club with Kalen DeBoer. You were there with Hugh Freeze a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
There with Kalen DeBoer this past week, and Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Right? So you've caught all three.
I don't think we've caught Hugh yet, but
he's not been there yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's been there yet.
Okay,
but
I think it's next week because they got the bye after Vandy. Yeah,
we'll do Saban, and then we had DeBoer, and then we'll get Freeze next.
So
week.
you mentioned the LSU game.
Yes.
And it is an elimination game.
For sure.
There's really no other way you can look at that as an elimination game. Here's what Kalen DeBoer said when EG and the media asked him about that specifically, about this being an elimination game.
Whether that is what it is or not, that's how we're going to approach it, even though we really don't need to say too much in regards to that. We're just focusing on what we can do right now in the moment and really honing in on, the kind of the mindset that you're only as good as your last play. You're only as good as your last game. And so take the things and learn from the Missouri game just like we would everything else. But really we got to go out and play our best game that we possibly can against LSU. And that goes back to the work that's got to be done between now and then. So the pressure is naturally going to be there for every game. We can't put added pressure onto ourselves. We just got to go out and play, be our best. That comes through confidence and in the prep that you put in.
So it's I don't a lot of coach speak there. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to be embraced by both sides, but it is what it is.
Right.
I think everybody involved in this game knows if you lose this game, you're not going to the college football playoff.
Exactly, and I think that that's something that has to be addressed in a way. And I understand what he's saying, that you don't want to put added pressure on your players. You don't want to emphasize every single day that, hey, this is the make or break moment. But there is an added level of intensity that comes with a game like that, especially when you're on the road in Baton Rouge, a night game. I'm interested they said that they did practice with crowd noise for Tennessee. I feel like they're going to have to do something similar this coming week.Id you just get a glance of Lance?
I did. Oh. All right. You downplayed this too much. It is really, really good. What are your?
I wonder if our younger fans know who this is. Do you know who this player is?
I don't think so.
There you go.
Scott's enjoying it, so I guess it must be.
Oh, it's tight. This is lost on Tyler and EG, but it is fantastic.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I know. I
hate maybe the greatest running back of all time that never gets mentioned with the Barry Sanders, the Emmitt Smiths, the Walter Paytons of the world.
It is the great Eric Dickerson, OED.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, she's so unimpressed, but she does not know how good that really is.
I know.
It's fantastic.
This thing is going to itch so bad.
Oh, it is. It is.
So bad.
It is.
Scott, what do you think?
I love it. I love it.
This, in my Jerry curl, was so much. Like, we had to cut this thing like multiple times.
Right.
So, yeah, there it is. Look.
There it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
You actually nailed it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, now that you see him, it's spot on, isn't it?
Spot on.
So there you go, ED. I will not be in character today like I was last year.
No, but I will not be able to look at you all day.
Because, by the way, Eric Dickerson had no personality. And here is a little-known fact, though. He was at a Halloween party when he got a call from his agent that he was being traded from the Rams to the Colts.
Oh, wow.
So,
fitting.
yeah. ED, big Halloween guy.
Okay, I'm going to.
I think he was dressed as a cowboy that night.
Probably
what I
so.
remember.
I'm going to step out and get dressed in mine. It will not take long.
Okay.
But before I do, I want to remind you your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is now open in Birmingham. The best in sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear. For the brands you love, all at everyday low prices. A wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. When you came around that corner, she goes like, did you just get a glimpse at something? Titleist, Shimano, and more. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Grand opening, Highway 280, right there in the Target Shopping Center in the old Best Buy. All right, I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. Good luck with it. Okay, so I've got to ask you. So you lose a bet and you just wear blue? Like, shouldn't you have to wear a Dodger hat or a jersey or something?
No, it was just Dodgers blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of a weak bet. What was the other side payoff?
No, it's part of my costume. I didn't lose a bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought that was a good tie-in because of the World Series.
You're just okay. So
I'm trying to put people off the scent.
As I can't wait to see the costume too. You were so it was year one 2 years ago.
Look at it.
I know. You really were decked out 2 years ago as a Braves mascot, right?
That was a year ago.
Oh, was that last year?
Yes, that was last year.
Yeah.
And that costume came together so seamlessly, which was actually kind of crazy. I was blooper, and I actually found the pants. So I had the fleece already. I had the jersey. I needed pants. And TJ Maxx on an end cap had a pair of like XXX Sherpa, perfect color. And the vision came together.
Because the color match is so important, right?
It was so important. Yeah. It was a beautiful marriage, and I was really proud of that costume. I feel like I can't top it, truthfully, but I'll try.
That's the
today.
problem. Like, I mean, you can only do so much. And I'll tell you, I really didn't know what to do. We had years ago at Odie's, we did a Halloween. It just happened Halloween fell, and this is 2013. Halloween fell on Wednesday on trivia night. So we all dressed like Cobra Kai, like the skeletons.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just going to wear a skeleton outfit. Just I'll be a team player and I'm going to dress up. But when I was in my closet, I was like, this official, like Michelin-esque.
Yeah, it looked very.
It was gifted to me from my man Chris Stewart from Gutter Cap years and years ago. So true story, I've had this thing for about 10 years. I've never worn it. And I saw it. It's just been on like the back. And I was like, I wonder if I can make something work with this.
A little inspiration.
So Amazon was able to deliver my specs and my fro within a day.
What is the mustache attached with?
It came with this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and ED did have a mustache back in the day.
I mean, when you see the comparison, Tyler, can we pull up the picture again? It is so spot on. And again, me and Tyler couldn't necessarily appreciate it. But when you see that, I mean, wow.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, what these chemicals in this hair and this mustache are going to do for me. Oh, my gosh. Now,
He's gay.
Yep.
I mean, he's blind.
Yep. And he's got the hat to boot. Yeah, very good, Tyler. Did you get it? You don't get it, do you?
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
Not yet.
I mean, the specs tell you that he is visually impaired.
I'm Eric Wanamaker.
Yeah.
I climb Mount Everest, except I'm gay. Gay, I'm blind.
I love the hat.
Thank you.
That is very inside.
Yeah, it is. I told you you're gonna have to watch the show to know. Like, I can't imagine.
Now, you said you ordered. Now, you've got like official like climbing rope. You've got.
That's right. We're ready to go.
Now, the parka. Did you actually buy the parka or bar?
The what?
Whatever.
Oh, that?
No. What? The parka, the thing you're wearing, the damn hoodie.
The jacket. Yeah, the jacket I had from when I went skiing once.
Okay.
Yeah, I had
That's good.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you. You want that?
Oh, I thought it said brown. I thought he had a custom cane.
I do not have a custom cane.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
He's blind. He's
gay. I'm blind.
Yeah.
Sorry. Gay. I'm blind. But this is going to be hot for the next 2 hours.
I was saying, I don't know what these chemicals in this Jerry curl are going to do to my head.
I don't.
I probably all this work Dr. B's done for me the last couple of years. It probably
just completely undone.
All fall out.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so there are our costumes. We'll get the rest of the gang coming up here in just a little bit. I have also discovered that these blackout glasses make it really difficult to see some of the things I need to see, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge. As we go to break, I'll remind everyone about Way to Wellness as well. That is who helped change Dunaway's life, Way to Wellness. They got all of his numbers back in order, made him healthier, and helped him lose weight. They could do the same for you. And it is a plan that is custom fitted for you. aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That is the website you go to at Way to Wellness to find out how you can get a healthier lifestyle. And if you're looking to change a career, they are hiring at Way to Wellness. So reach out to Leslie and her board-certified staff there, aplanforme.com. aplanforme.com. Start a healthier lifestyle. While you wait for the change of the year to make your New Year's resolution, do it absolutely right now at A Way to Wellness, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. SEC football with Roman Harper. The SEC Network is next on the Halloween costume edition of The Next Round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is now open in Birmingham with the best in sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear from the brands you love, and all at low prices every day. Academy Sports and Outdoors carries a wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Plus, you can shop online or on the app with free in-store pickup or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt, presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round. All right, we continue on the Next Round, Halloween edition, along with Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Dunaway still in Vegas. He'll be back coming up on Monday. Tyler, Scott, little T, E.G. all here. It is time to go to the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Roman Harper, the Alabama great now with the SEC Network, joins us to talk some SEC football. Good morning, Harp. What is up?
What's happening, fellas? I'm actually at my wife's tennis match. I got to be a little quiet, but she doesn't want me. I don't think she knows I'm out here, so it's all good. I'm just sneaking watching.
Club championship?
What?
Is this the club championship?
No, I wish. I mean, dude. I mean, they're just doing good to hit it back and forth. I'm not disrespectful at all, but this is not championship level. It's fine.
Yeah,
a couple steps under that, guys.
Harp's not disrespecting, but they're doing good just to hit it back and forth. He said,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like in remember in Fletch where the wife's out there. He goes to play tennis and she's just like hitting it straight up in the air.
yeah, they're doing good just to hit it back and forth. So let's talk about the SEC. Texas A&M. You would have them if you did a Roman Harper power ranking where right now?
2.
You would have them 2 behind Georgia, right?
Yes, behind Georgia, of course. But I mean, Texas A&M they have a game plan the way they win their way, which is they're going to play really stymied defense. They're going to have different designs. They're going to do different things on that side of the football. They're going to be very creative. And then on offense, they're just going to find a way. They're finding ways to run the football effectively. And I thought what Mike Elko did last week was brilliant. That, under Conor Wegman, we weren't getting anything done. LSU's defense was starting to choke us out. We were very constraining. We couldn't get anything going. And he's like, you know what, we're just going to make a switch. Puts in Marcel Reed, and they look completely different, and LSU was not ready for it. And if you can win in multiple ways, in multiple fashions, why not limit yourself? And right now, I'm looking at Texas A&M, and I'm not even saying that Marcel Reed is just the guy going forward. They have this 1-2 combination where you might roll out Connor Wegman if we can't move the ball with Marcel Reed this week versus South Carolina, because they're going to be prepared for the quarterback run. And then all of a sudden, you're ready to go back to Marcel Reed if necessary, if Connor Wegman may be struggling throwing the football as well. So I like that you're going to have multiple facets to win. It also makes other teams have to prepare for you in multiple ways as well. And more practice time is spent on different ways and which quarterback's in, what this one wants to do. It's a lot of things that you have to try and process, where we all know college players and defenses are not always that smart.
You know, I know you can say this about a handful of teams right now, but South Carolina 2 plays away from being 6-1. And this is a dangerous team in Columbia. They're only a 2.5-point underdog. It would be so 2024 for Texas A&M to win Elko's biggest game, and the biggest game they've won in arguably a decade, and then go into Columbia and lose on Saturday night.
I would not be shocked one bit. The fact that it's a night game makes it really, really weird. Night game in Columbia, we know how that place goes. The later it gets, it's going to be one of those type of environments. And South Carolina has one thing that can nullify everything that you do offensively, which is a very attacking, aggressive defense, especially front seven. Their front D linemen, the 2 edge player, Kyle Kennard, and Dylan Stewart, are disruptors all the time. Then you got the 2 interior guys, Tonka Hemingway, and the other guy slipped my mind right now. I apologize. But those 2 guys in the interior are also very good as well. And they present a lot of problems. I saw just last time we saw South Carolina, it was versus Oklahoma, who tried to use some quarterback runs, and the defensive tackles just ate it all up because they're aggressive, they penetrate, they don't stay blocked. And so whenever you're trying to do all these early run designs, if you have guys that are in the backfields, it just throws all the timing off of everything. And that is the one thing that South Carolina has. And South Carolina has won games because their defense has forced turnovers, and then they score off of those turnovers, which we know is a real back-breaking thing when it comes to football. And so South Carolina has all the elements to win this game. But I could also see Texas A&M hitting Sellers, forcing the interception, and they scoring and winning it one way, that two-way as well. I just think this game is so many different facets because I don't know what quarterback's going to play for Texas A&M the whole game. I don't know how Sellers is going to be as far as handling what Texas A&M does third down defensively and some of the other exotic looks that they do on that side of football. And I don't know if Texas A&M is going to be able to block the front of South Carolina and actually help them win a game on that side of it too. So because of all that, guy, I'm like really, really out on this game. I'm more just excited about the unknown of this game.
Roman
Harper,
Harper,
like you guys' Halloween outfits.
You do like them or do not like them?
I mean, I kind of like them. Hold on. You got to tell me. All right, I know Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, mine. I'm going to have to send you a video on mine.
You're not going to. It's an inside joke.
It requires a ton of context. The audience gets it. You may not.
Okay. I thought it was the one Dave Chappelle movie from back in the day where he was the weed dealer. Oh my gosh, it was one of his first ones.
Half baked.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be that if you want.
Yes, half baked.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
If that's how it's art. However it speaks to you is what it is, Harp. It is art. Roman Harper is with us from the SEC Network, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. They double your initial deposit. You make that deposit, they double that for you, so you get started with plenty in your account right there at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to get that double deposit bonus. Code next round at MyBookie.ag. Auburn they're not indicative of their record. They are a better team. I know the old saying, Harp, is you are what your record says you are. They are a better team than what their record would indicate. And that is shown by MyBookie.ag and everywhere else in the world, making them a touchdown favorite over Vanderbilt. This has been a good Vanderbilt team, but the smart guys in Vegas say Auburn is still a 1 touchdown favorite over them. Do you watch film on Vandy and Auburn and say, I can see that. I can see that Auburn is maybe a touchdown better than Vandy and Jordan-Hare?
I totally could. It's because Auburn hasn't turned the football over as much as they had starting the season off. And so if Auburn doesn't turn the football over, they have a lot more wins. And that is a true statement. And I'm not going to say they're better than what their record is because I'm a firm believer in that. But they have played good football in every game so far that they played. Now, what do they do going forward? It's going to be really it'll be interesting to see. I do think that Auburn has a couple things that presents Vanderbilt's problems. Up front, they have a guy, Keldrick Falk, who can really cause a lot of damage for everything that Vanderbilt likes to do, because he's right there at the D-line. He plays interior. He goes outside some. And that's all right there where all the little fakes and all the option action happens for Vanderbilt. And so if he's disruptive, he throws off everything. And Vanderbilt's not a drop-back team. They also took a lot of lumps last week versus Texas. So how physically ready are they ready to go? That's another very interesting thing. But, I mean, Auburn has found ways to lose games, and they found ways to put the ball on the ground. They found ways to turn the football over. When they've taken care of it, they give themselves a chance to win the game. Vanderbilt, we know, has found ways to win games because they create turnovers and they normally take care of the football. They didn't do that versus Texas. That's why they eventually lost that game. They also couldn't stop the run as well on second and third down long situations. And so maybe that's what Vegas is looking at, that Auburn can find ways to continue to run the football. I mean, they did just have running back rush for 278 yards. And so maybe Auburn will stick with that type of game plan where they're going to pound the ball, they're going to run the football, take the air out of it. Don't put so much on your quarterback's arm and all these fancy brand new wide receivers that we want to try and show off early in the year. We're going to actually be who we should have been the whole time, which is a running football team using a little bit of play action, not the whole RPO game. We're just going to do either run or pass, all designed and called off of the offensive coordinator, which is Hugh Freeze. So it'll be really interesting to see. It's at Jordan-Hare, which is another advantage for Auburn. I'm not super excited for my Vanderbilt Commodores, who I've been rooting for silently, and actually not silently at all, but pretty loudly all year long.
You know, you look at Ole Miss, and obviously with 2 losses going into November, they got to play mistake-free football. They've got to win out in order to get to a college football playoff. Now they go to Fayetteville. And much like you said about South Carolina, that place is crazy at night. You kind of wish, if you're pulling for Arkansas, this game was a nighttime game in Fayetteville. I think that does benefit Ole Miss. With all that said, when Arkansas is clicking and Taylor Green is playing elite football, is this maybe the most dynamic offense in the SEC?
Well, I know it's definitely one of the more dynamic quarterbacks when he's playing well and taking care of the football. And the crazy thing is he had 6 touchdowns last week, guys. And I've charted like 3 or 4 where I'm like, man, if he would have just made this decision, it was another touchdown. And so he's still not even at his peak performing level. The biggest thing with Arkansas is the same thing as with Auburn, is that when you guys take care of the football, you win football games. And that's been what I've heard Sam Pittman say for multiple weeks now. They're playing better defensively as well. And honestly, Ole Miss feels a little bit more stale offensively than they have in the past. And so when you have that situation rolling into Arkansas, where honestly, guys, this game's really just going to come down to who takes care of the football. And so if Arkansas is able to force Ole Miss into some problems and some turnovers and gets the crowd into it, then Arkansas wins the game. But if Ole Miss takes care of the football and Arkansas puts the ball on the ground like they did versus LSU just 2 or 3 times, like uncontrollably and just bad, then Arkansas is going to lose the game and it's going to look bad on Sam Pittman. But we got to remember, I think I just heard it from my ESPN guys, I think Ole Miss is like 2-16 versus Auburn they have not been able to beat Arkansas for some strange reason for a very long time now. They just been I think they beat them in Little Rock in 2020. But as far as in Fayette,
I think we lost Harp. The tennis match got him. That's unfortunate. All right. Thank you, Roman Harper, SEC Network. At Harp41 on social media is where you find him, and he joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, to double that initial deposit, where Auburn is up to a 7-point favorite. It has been lingering around 6.5, up to 7 overnight. So that number continues to climb there in Auburn.
Hey, right, that still shot is Harp going as Adebisi from Oz. Can you pull it?
Adebisi.
I
never watched Oz.
Oz was a really, really good show. Now, you had to get over seeing men's junk all the time because it was a prison drama.
Yeah.
But people getting
generally not something I'm after seeing. Yes.
Taken out with dumbbells.
Right.
People like grinding up glass and putting it in people's food.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
That's never good. That is Roman Harper with us, courtesy of mybookie.ag code next round. Mybookie.ag code next round. I want to ask you about that Auburn Vandy game in just 1 second. But first, I want to remind everyone about our guy Greg from Pell City. Storm Restoration Roofing is the name of the company, but it doesn't just have to be if you're facing a bad storm or storm damage. Anytime you need a roof, let Greg climb up on that roof and give you a risk-free evaluation. 205-542-3531 is his number, 205-542-3531. Greg Nelson is his name. He is Greg for Pell City, a family business right there, taking care of you, making sure that roof is exactly the way it should be. 205-542-3531 for Greg from Pell City. So I mentioned to Harp, we have talked a lot about Vanderbilt. We've talked a lot about Diego Pavia being a first-team quarterback, and now here's Auburn, a team with a losing record. It's 3-5, and as I said to Harp, I mean, the famous saying in football, and I don't necessarily disagree with this, at some point you are what your record says you are. I think Bill Parcells famously said it. I don't know that he was the first person to say it. You are what your record says you are. I mean, I don't watch Auburn and for 60 minutes they look like a 3-win team, right? I mean, I watch them and I'm like, boy, they do a lot of good things. It's really just been turnovers, and as Harp said, they've cleaned that up. It just now led to a win. Like, they cleaned it up against Oklahoma. One key turnover cost them the game. They cleaned it up against Georgia. They're just not good enough to hang with Georgia right now.
Well, look, in that Kentucky defense, say what you want about Stoops, say what you want about Kentucky in 2024, Brock Vandagriff not working out through the portal coming from Georgia. Kentucky defense is really good, and Jarquez Hunter to go over 12 yards per carry, to go 278 against that defense, that's what Auburn should be. You're not getting elite quarterback play, not even close with Peyton Thorne. I think you know that. That's not going to change. I'm sure a lot of these young receivers are really frustrated, but now it should be about running the football. With Hunter leading the SEC in rushing, now you go in against Vanderbilt. Pavia, you heard Hugh Freeze. I'm sick of seeing this guy, sick of hearing about him.
It's like I'm playing Navy.
Keep him off the field. It's not like you want to keep an explosive offense off the field, but run the football, play mistake-free, take care of business. Again, there's a reason Auburn is a touchdown favorite in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about, the importance of the Oklahoma game for Auburn. Like, if they won that game, it felt like Auburn might could go, or no, I'm sorry, the Missouri game, not the Oklahoma game. If they won that game at Missouri, and they were going to win that game till Connor Cook or Brady Cook came back. But if they'd won that Missouri game, I felt like Auburn could go on a little bit of a roll because I thought they could win at Kentucky. Kentucky has been so up and down this year.
Yeah, I mean, the problem now, you look at this Auburn schedule, and, Vanderbilt seemed like one of the givens with La Monroe. La Monroe much better than we thought they would be. And then, obviously, Vanderbilt's been one of the surprises of all the Power Four. So there's not like a give-me game out there for the Auburn Tigers. They turn it over 3 times, which is not unheard of with this offense. They lose all these games.
Yeah, but I thought they could go on a roll coming out of that if they could win that Missouri game, coming to that Missouri game. But they were not able to do that. And unfortunately for Auburn now, you're not on a roll. You're just trying to pick up wins, though. You can get 2 in a row against Vandy this week. Much more on that game as we continue. The show also presented by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, Michelson wants to remind you, 205-969-8100. If you wear glasses or contacts, you are wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Do you know a family member, or do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK and Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice for you. Book your free LASIK consultation today with both Dr. Jen Michelson, Dr. Mark Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or Flex Plan Fund to get freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Taylor. The next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Landmine Believer said in the MyBookie.ag chat room, who knew 3-5 win over 3-5 Kentucky would make you an elite team? Far from saying Auburn is an elite team. I do think the guys that make the point spreads in Vegas have struggled to figure out what to do with Alabama and Kentucky. And here's my point on that. Now, Alabama and Vandy. Here's my point on that, Lance, and this is coming off a game where Alabama easily covered the point spread, winning 34-0. I get that. But Alabama's had some pretty big point spreads this year, and they haven't always played like a team that deserves those point spreads. Like going to Vandy, I guess it's so much easier to say in hindsight. We didn't say it going into the game, but in hindsight, how on earth were they laying, what was it, 21 and a half?
21 and a half. And you would say the same about Texas. Now, Texas was up 21-7. Alabama never led in that game. But if you go back and you really look at that game, if Alabama would have possessed the ball 25 minutes, they would have scored 50-plus points. I mean, that's how effective the offense was when they had the football. The problem
that's pretty
is,
crazy to say.
Yeah, that Tim Beck offense just completely dictated everything. Pavia was so good. And the pick six really kind of established everything early. You know, when it was 7-0, you're like, okay, this is just one of those things that happens. And then the pick six, they miss the extra point, you're down 13-0. You're like, damn, this has gotten real quick.
Yeah.
And then you never really have the football.
That's right. I mean, that was the thing. You're like, okay, Alabama can get back in this. Well, Alabama never touched the football. Then the next week it gets South Carolina. We did talk about it on this show in that game. Like, that point spread feels way out of whack against South Carolina. What were they? They were like 17, 18 points against South Carolina. Yeah. And you looked at that and you're like, that team that just lost to Vandy, how are they giving South Carolina that many points?
Yeah, but again, they were up big, and it was like the final, 4 and change, quickly changed that game in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the same has happened to Vandy. I just don't think the odds makers. That's why this Auburn-Vanderbilt game, 11:45 SEC Network, is so fascinating to me. Speaking of point spreads, friend of the show, John Summerall. Boy, I mean, this shows you how much the Thursday night college football product has changed. Tonight's game is Tulane at Charlotte. And it's on ESPN, by the way.
Yeah, I've got a total in this game. I'm staying away from the side. I do kind of like Tulane. Boy, dogs have been hitting early this week in college football. Tulane's kind of hitting their stride right now, but not comfortable laying 14.5.
Yeah, 15 right now at mybookie.ag. You can see it some places at 14.5. Tulane favored. Let's talk about the NFL game, and we'll do more with Dan Orlovksy coming up. I mean, it almost feels like maybe I'm overselling this a little bit. At what point are we last stand for the Jets? Like, if they are actually going to make the playoffs
tonight,
Rodgers, I think it is too.
No, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but they would have to if they don't win tonight. I mean,
the benefit is the AFC East, your division is that bad. You've got a 6-2 Buffalo team that has already won that division basically, and then a 3-2 win team. So if the Jets were able to scratch and claw and get to 3 wins. Maybe Aaron Rodgers recaptures some kind of magic, and I've got to look at the schedule. Anyway, bigger problems right now for the Texans, as good as they are, with no Nico Collins and now Stephon Diggs being out for the year, that is a blow. But this Jets team has lost 5 consecutive games. Tough game with the Texans. Then they go to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals up and down but can be really good. They've got the Colts at home, Seahawks at home, at the Dolphins, at the Jags. Rams at home. They've got some winnable games. So if they were to win this game, it wouldn't blow me away if they went on a little run.
Nicholas says Rodgers will not finish the season. Like, if it appears they're out of the playoffs, do you think he shuts it down, or does he finish the season for them?
I think he would finish the season.
Just out of pride?
Yeah.
I think
so. But, it's going to be a bad look. Let's say this team goes on and they're 5-12. Is that it for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Does he just retire, or does he try to go somewhere else, you think? Is that what you're saying? You think he would retire?
Yeah, and I just think Aaron Rodgers is such a competitor. I think he would absolutely hate to walk off after a losing season, not even get to the postseason. I thought this Jets team was going to be really good because I thought the defense would be as good as it was last year.
Yeah.
And I thought, with Aaron Rodgers, even if it is 80% of what you got with Aaron Rodgers, I go back to the Peyton Manning with the Broncos. And, the beginning of his Bronco career was really good, putting up massive numbers. But that final Super Bowl, he was a shell of himself, but it was all about the intangibles and just how smart he was. And he really did it with his brain. And I thought Aaron Rodgers could do a lot of that, especially when you look at the weapons. When you go out and you've got Garrett Wilson, who's been underutilized in his 2 years, but then you get a Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And you get a healthy Breece Hall. And you spell him with Braylon Allen. You've got weapons there.
By the way, and this is so true, AK points out at the mybookie.ag chat room, this is going to be like the 10th Jets primetime game. They put the Jets in primetime a ton this year, thinking Aaron Rodgers was going to be really, really good. And the Jets are going to be good because of Aaron Rodgers. Now when they suck, we just get a ton of primetime bad Jet games.
We do that Calcutta, and there's 8 of us. We get 4 teams each. And I was hoping to pick late and then get the Jets early in the second round.
Right.
And I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I thought
those 2 wins aren't helping you right now.
Yeah, like if you would have told me, hey, the Jets are going to end up. You look around the NFL right now and you look at some of the teams that are surprising people. We talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit's not a surprise. But like Pittsburgh's 6-2. Like if the Jets were 6-2 instead of 2-6, it would make all the sense in the world.
Absolutely.
It would make more sense if Pittsburgh was 2-6.
No, you're right. Pittsburgh's played more like a 2-6 team than they have a 6-2 team, but that's the way the NFL is. A ton of one-score games. If you can win those, you're just fine. All right, as we head to the top of the hour, Tyler and Scott are going to unveil their costumes coming up at the start of the next hour, and then we'll get Little T and EG coming up around 10:30 or so. Also, Dan Orlovksy still to come at 11:05 to talk some NFL. A reminder, urological health is extremely, extremely important. Do not ignore that part of your body's health. UCA, Urology Centers of Alabama, can make sure you've got the urological health you need. UrologyCentersAlabama.com is the website, 205-930-0920. That's 205-930-0920 to set an appointment and make sure you've got the urological health that you need. Urology Centers Alabama. Hey, and if you're ready to wave the white flag and say, look, we've had enough kids, they can handle that, man. Right there at Urology Centers of Alabama, UrologyCentersAlabama.com. More Halloween costumes and more of the next round next.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we start another hour of the Next Round. It is the Halloween costume show. We're about to have some more unveils. As you know, that is Eric Dickerson right there. Lance Taylor is Eric Dickerson.
You're the gay climber.
I'm blind. Okay, I'm blind. The climb Mount Everest. Eric Wanamaker is his name. Tyler, I mean, that obviously, I mean, I don't have to tell you this. I know you've already got it queued up. That's going to be the trash open, right, today?
Well, it's got to be today.
Gotta be.
I mean,
I was originally planning the witches one.
Oh, that is a good. Well, do you want to? Well, I don't know. Let's play the witches one right now because I like that. We're not doing trash right now. We're just playing the witches one.
You've climbed other things besides Everest, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Kilimanjaro?
Yeah.
I mean,
6 witches that are in our church. And you know what's strange? 3 of you are in this room right now. We got your first name. We got your last name. We even got an address for one of you. You so much as cough wrong, and I'll expose you in front of everybody in this tent, you stinking witch.
LT's Trash is
That's
presented
good.
by Mortgage Right.
That's good, yeah. So much as cough wrong. That's where I like that he draws the line there. Like, there are a lot of things you could do, but if you cough wrong, that's when we're going to expose you. Not if you, like, do something the Bible says not to do here in this church. If you cough wrong, that's where you've crossed the line.
Or if you're caught performing witchcraft,
yeah, maybe
like that.
Yeah, child sacrifice. No. If you cough wrong, that's where we're going to really be alarmed. That's my favorite part about the witches. All right, actual trash coming up in about an hour and a half right now. All right, who wants to go first? Who's first back there, Tyler? You tell me.
Melton's already dressed up if he wants to make an entrance.
Oh, okay, Melton. Tell Melton he's got to come stand right here. I don't know what Melton's going to do here. Melton already dressed up. Now Tim is a very, very large human being, so that brings a lot of Halloween costumes into play.
No.
This was just kind of crazy right here, Melton. Does that? I mean,
It's got to be the big bad wolf, right?
Is that the big bad wolf? Is that what that is?
Because it's a wolf, and you are definitely big.
Yeah, it's not bad though. You're a very nice guy.
I was on a morning jog, and I got attacked by what looked originally to be a possum, and it ended up being a wolf. And then this happened to me.
Oh, wow! I thought that only happened at night.
No, it happened this morning, early this morning. The sun was not fully out yet, Lance, but yeah, I was trying to.
Okay.
The best part is I actually believed him because he didn't have the mask on and the makeup looked so good on his hands.
Yeah, I see the makeup. Like hold your hands up like that so they can see the makeup. Blood. So it's just blood everywhere. Yeah. Now, is this a character from one of these crazy movies you'll watch, or is this just something that Melton invented out of?
I assume it's Wolfman.
Wolfman
from the upcoming Universal movie.
Oh, the upcoming Universal movie. There's a movie about Wolfman.
Is it Benicio del Toro?
No, he did the last one.
Oh,
this
he
is
did do
written by Lee Winnell, the guy who made Saw.
It wasn't that great though.
It was not.
I'm shocked.
Yes.
Yeah. There's another one coming out.
I saw the terrible Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer Wolf too. It had James Spader in it. You ever see that one?
I did not. I like Teen Wolf and I like Monster Squad.
I've never seen Monster Squad nor Teen Wolf. I have never seen Teen Wolf.
Wolfman's got
You've never
nards.
seen Teen Wolf?
No.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I got no desire to see it.
Well, I mean, that's just like a 80s.
Well, you just recently
Teen
saw.
Wolf is great.
Yeah, but you see a billion movies. I never watch movies. I'm a little surprised in the 80s you never saw Teen Wolf.
Yeah, you're also like the 80s guy. Even I've seen Teen Wolf.
Yeah, that was Michael J. Fox at the height of his career right there doing Teen Wolf.
What size shoe were you mounting? 18?
That is correct. 18. Yeah.
The reason I bring it up because I was watching that Vince McMahon documentary and they were talking about Andre the Giant, 26.
He wore a size 26.
Yeah, is that big? Look at that thing.
That is a big old shoe right there. 18. Do you have to I think we've asked you this. You have to custom order sometimes?
No, I can actually find it in the clearance rack because they can't sell them.
Because nobody buys
Correct.
18s.
So they're normally cut down half price. I just
Damn,
have to,
so you always get a good deal on shoes.
Yeah.
As long as I can find them. As long as I'm not in need, I stock up. So it
Okay,
works
so
out.
when did the foot hit 18? And I've got a reason for asking this. Because, back in the day, you would get the one pair of shoes to wear for like 6 months. And hopefully you wouldn't outgrow it. I would think your foot was just growing nonstop. But when did it hit an 18?
So 18 years old, I hit 18, I
Okay.
think. 18, 19 years old.
Wow.
18, yeah.
Well, there you go. That's a big shoe there. All right, Wolfman, thank you. It's very good. Is that what a wolf sounds like? All right, he's going to replace Tyler.
the big
Tyler,
wolf.
that's a big. Hey, would that wolf scare you if a wolf the size of Melton attacked you?
Yeah, it's a big wolf.
That is a
It's
big
dire wolf.
So he's going to replace Tyler so Tyler can come in here with his. A reminder, the Pan Store keeps you dressed for the college football Saturdays, the college football weekends. You can dress at the Pan Store. Panstore.com to find a location near you. They are throughout central Alabama, but you can find them at panstore.com. Start your shopping there. All the great brands, all the great team gear. Don't go to Jordan-Hare Stadium or Oxford, Mississippi or Bryant-Denny Stadium or that road trip down to Baton Rouge without your favorite team gear. Make sure you get it at the Pan Store, panstore.com, panstore.com. I always tell you this about Pan Store, and we've told Michael G., the owner of it. My daughter, when she went off to college, there are a lot of kids from outside of Alabama or outside of the Birmingham area, and they couldn't believe that Anna Kate grew up next to a Pan Store. They were like, you grew up next to the Pan Store? All right, here is Tyler.
A Pop-Tart.
You brought this up the other day, did you? Oh, hey, he's throwing Pop-Tarts. Thanks, Tyler. I missed one.
Oh, he's got the best, too, the frosted strawberry.
Throw me another one. I missed that one. They're in the floor over here. Thanks, Tyler. Oh, I'm blind. Okay, blind.
You
Sorry. I can't see either. Yes, that's very good. You actually brought up the Pop-Tart Bowl the other day and how they had a life-size Pop-Tart there. Were you foreshadowing your costume by doing such?
I was. I had already had plans to pick up the costume, and I had to find it from some eBay seller had it because it was already sold out.
Wait, so somebody's worn that before?
No, it was still in the package. It was brand new.
Okay.
I mean, that is fantastic. Just seeing Tyler talking as a Pop-Tart. You wear that the rest of the show, right? I mean, that is the deal.
Oh, yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah,
to run the board as a Pop-Tart.
He's like a beekeeper, though, with the net.
He is. I mean, Melton's sitting there.
Yeah, we've all got restricted view now.
Yeah, this is the most absurd thing ever. All right, very good, Tyler. Excellent as a Pop-Tart. It's even logoed on the back. It's even got the actual logo. We will have Scott's in a moment. Little T in process of doing hers. She and EG coming up at 10:30. EG's got a face painted somehow because she's telling people to stay
I
at the
walked
office
in and there was something going on. She's like, "Don't look," and I'm like, "I have no idea what you're doing."
Yeah.
And by the way, I can't really see.
That's right.
I've got the sunglass or bad hat headache right now, and
Right.
I don't know if it's from the skull cap that keeps the head from itching really bad, or if it's from the specs.
People are arguing now about what the best Pop-Tart is.
Well, it is either the frosted strawberry or the frosted blueberry. Those are the two. Like, I've never understood the unfrosted. It made no sense.
No,
that they ever had
unfrosted
that.
is terrible.
I did not like the chocolate with mine or the fudge.
Well, some people are saying that's the best one is the chocolate. I'm with you. I generally enjoy the fruit flavors of the Pop-Tarts.
To each their own. I thought the cherry was a little too much. I thought the frosted strawberry or the frosted blueberry, those were the goats.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. The frosted fruit flavors are definitely the better ones. Is Scott standing in the hall right there? Is he ready to go? Oh, he is. Oh, Scott Forrester, lifelong White Sox fan, and he is dressed as this year every White Sox fan. Every single one of them. Got the beer in hand and the bag on the head.
I mean, at least cut holes in the bag. Do you even have holes in there? Or you just... Oh, yeah.
Small ones? Yeah, small ones. Oh, you can't talk? I mean...
I've got a mouth hole.
Okay, Melton. Yeah, you do. Melton talked through a wolf mask. Surely you could talk through that. You've hired a new manager. How are you? How do you feel about
so good. I'm really optimistic.
Well, so do you?
You sound.
And Kopech, by the way, one of your former players, did get to pitch in a clinching game in the World Series.
Had to make you feel good.
Do you watch the World Series?
I did. I was rooting for Michael Kopech, man.
Okay. The Yankees played a lot like the White Sox in the 5th inning, so. Okay.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did. You got to admit it.
So Jerry Reinsdorf was also in charge of the budget for this year's Halloween costume. He's a little tight.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could get a brown sack like that anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's mostly plastic. Where'd you find that?
They were actually really hard to find. Fortunately, my mom still had a couple in her garage, so I had to go meet up with her after yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably going to get to a point in society where you're not allowed to wear the bag. Like it's too demeaning to your team that gets paid billions of dollars to underperform.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I'm all about it.
So next 10 years. So this is a 4-downs question on the fly. What happens first? We're all done with the platform, or the White Sox get to another World Series?
Oh, crap.
They're not getting there in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I bet on us in that one, but I don't like us being in the bet.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't.
I think that shows you where the White Sox are, right?
It is. The White Sox are bad.
As long as Jerry owns that team, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Excellent job. Scott, the standard White Sox fan. I like beer in hand, too.
Even
nice touch.
The old Aints were the first fan base to put the bag on. I always still think of the Unknown Comic.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
when you see that?
Back to my 80s. Yeah.
I do remember the Saints fans wearing the bags on the head, and they were the first ones I think I saw do that. I think they were the first ones I remember. I'm with you, the old Aints, back in the 80s at the Dome. All right, Hemp Hill Services brings you the lock every day, and then I want to run through some of these games with you. Hemp Hill Services and lanceslock.com.
Yeah, Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Trust the name Birmingham's trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. Talked to our friend Chad yesterday. They are ready on standby to serve you, whether it's your home or business. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, let's talk about some of these college football games, if you could, real quick, and we'll do that over the next couple of days, of course, but I do want to go back to Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State's a 3.5-point favorite, and we talked about this yesterday, and Bobby Carpenter, we got lost in the description of stats are like hostages. If you cut them up, they'll tell you anything you want.
That was unbelievable.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
But he said that after asked about Ryan Day being 2-5 against top 10, and he said, or top 5. He goes, he's 2-5 against top 5, but he's 8-7 against top 10. And I know that sounds like a bad record, but 8-7 against top 10 is not awful.
That's great, but the problem is it gets more magnified against top 5.
That's right, the better ones.
Because that is what you've got to beat those teams to win a championship.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, top 10 can get you in a situation to play for a championship, but I just think Ohio State fans are to the point now where this truly wasn't all in, and we've heard anywhere from $20 to $30 million for this roster. Who knows what the final number was on that. Ohio State, their big problem is after they lost 32-31, in that game, you lose your left tackle, Josh Simmons. And the offensive line has not been the same. You saw they couldn't run the football last week. Now, for Penn State, though, is Drew Aller going to be ready for this game?
So it's a huge question. They had to go to the backup against Wisconsin, and he actually played quite well for them.
Bo Perbula, and a guy that we said the moment didn't seem too big, seemed like a really confident kid, but you just wonder, Drew Aller is a more athletic guy. And I think with the pass rush for Ohio State, where they're 9.7% best sack rate right now in the Big Ten, their ability to get after the quarterback, now they had 0 sacks against Dylan Gabriel. That was one of the problems in the loss in Autzen. But they've got to be able to get to the quarterback, close things out. This is another one of those games that I mentioned with Arkansas. I think it benefits Ohio State. They're playing at 11 o'clock.
I would tend to agree. If this were a night game, it would be really, really, really difficult on Ohio State. I mean, it's not going to be an easy place to play. That crowd will be fired up. This is the biggest. I mean, it would be the biggest win of the James Franklin. He's won a Big Ten championship game.
Yeah. I forgot who they played for that game,
Wisconsin, because that is, I think, to date, the highest ranked win he's ever had. I think.
Well,
Wisconsin
and I go back to that year, so that was 2016.
Yeah.
And in 2016, they ended up playing the Rose Bowl against Sam Darnold and USC, and that was a tremendous game. But Ohio State has won 11 of their last 12 against Penn State, and the one loss was in 2016 on that blocked field goal where they scoop and scored. So Ryan Day has completely dominated this. What typically happens is Penn State looks like they're going to win this game, and they find a way to lose it.
That is correct.
And I could see this happen again tomorrow. It's a game I'll stay away from. because I don't know the situation with Drew Aller.
And it's 11 o'clock.
And it's 11 o'clock. And James Franklin
You won your 11 o'clock game this week, though. You're on a heater.
3-17 against top 10s. That's bad.
That is bad. And that's the other number. The old something has to give. Is it James Franklin's record against the top 10? Is it Ryan Day's record against the top 5? I will say this. If Ohio State loses this game, I mean, they're in the same spot Alabama is in and LSU is in, where you're out of mulligans now. You have to play all the way through, and they've still got Indiana hanging out there, and they should beat Indiana. But, boy, that is a difficult enough game to make you think. And Indiana's now getting back healthy, reportedly at quarterback this weekend against Michigan State.
Indiana is going to be super confident going into that game that they can win it because, again, they've got a bunch of veterans. Kirk Cignetti is a guy that they're feeding off his energy. And if you're Indiana, you just look at the demolished job you did to Nebraska, and Nebraska had every opportunity to beat Ohio State.
Yeah. I just wonder, Lance, I mean, how nervous do you get as an Ohio State fan if they've lost this game, if they lose to Penn State, with Indiana still hanging out there, just knowing that your season rests on that one game? I mean, I'm nervous to play. I mean, normally you don't even sweat that one, but that Indiana team makes me nervous.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
Uh-oh. I like it when you started saying this.
No, but if Ryan Day goes 9-3 and doesn't make the college football playoff, is there a chance that he's fired? You know, here's another thing you got to look at. Like, anybody would take the Ohio State job. It's arguably the best job in college football.
I don't disagree.
But, like, who would be available to take that job right now? And I am not saying – I think Ryan Day's done a good job. Now, has he done an elite job, an A+? No, I would give him an A. I mean, really, if you take away the Michigan losses, which you can't, it's been an A+. And he's yet to win a championship. And, you know, I think in this weird year, if he was to go 9-3, I think you still give him a pass. But I think Ohio State fans would be calling for his head.
I mean, and this is a question asked in the mybookie.ag chat room by Nicholas. What quality wins does Ohio State have? I mean, do we even know who they really are? I mean, it's not a win. They went on the road against the number one team in the nation, and it came down, you know, to the final play of the game, basically, and their quarterback slid. And
yeah, I mean, that's what I would call a quality loss.
It is. I hate using that phrase, but it's true.
I mean, they beat the dick off Iowa. Okay. But how good is Iowa?
How good is Iowa? Yeah. I don't know.
Western Michigan's they're your odds-on favorite to win the MAC for whatever that's worth. They won that game 56-0. You're right. I mean, there's nothing. This would completely flip everything if they go into Happy Valley. They beat, you know, number 3 Penn State. Then you're like, okay, they've won on the road against number 3. They took number 1 to the wire and lost by a point.
But at this point, their best win is a close loss to Oregon on the road. I mean, that's their best win.
It is.
So I don't know what we know. Now, I do the same thing with Penn State. Who have they beaten? I mean, they haven't exactly played a brutal schedule either. I mean, I'm going to say just offhand, Lance, their best win is USC on the road or at Wisconsin. I guess USC and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some sneaky good wins. Like West Virginia is not a bad team. West Virginia is an okay team.
That was the season opener. It had a weird rain delay, so it was a delayed game. But you're right, West Virginia's not awful.
Yeah, but
it was a tough environment.
They ended up really pulling away in the second half in Morgantown, where a lot of people believe that West Virginia was good enough to win the Big 12. You know, they beat Illinois soundly by double digits, and that was an Illinois team that I forgot how high they got, maybe 14th. USC, they're down double digits. A game they should have never won, but they found a way to win it in the Coliseum. And then last week, they're down at half to Wisconsin. That pick six flipped the entire game, but they have just found a way to continue to win games.
One more game I want to get to in this segment before we get to a break, but Odie's is bringing you part of the show right now.
Yeah, so the question last night, if anybody cares, Dunaway typically asks me this. The question last night was, which came first, Nick Saban or the airbag?
Tyler, do you know why?
Tyler or Scott or both can give a guess on this.
Do you know why it's significant we're asking about Nick Saban today?
It is his birthday today.
Everybody knows this.
That is accurate. Did you know that, or you just guessed that, Tyler?
I did, because I was putting together 4 downs and saw the list of famous birthdays.
Oh, and Nick Saban makes the list of famous birthdays.
He does.
And you did not include it in 4 downs.
Correct.
Okay. Scott, do you have any guess which came first, airbag or Nick Saban?
I'm going to go Nick Saban.
Scott's going to go Nick Saban. Tyler?
I'm going to go with Nick Saban as
Nick
well.
Saban. I know the answer.
I mean, people weren't even wearing seatbelts back then. It's
amazing. I could not believe this.
When you hear stuff like this. So Nick Saban, happy birthday today, 1951. The airbag debuted in 1952.
It blows me away that it's even that close. Nick
Yeah.
Saban came first, but I mean, the airbag.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. You find out that kind of great
Oh, yeah,
information
at Odie's
at
Tavern,
Yes.
2 locations, so live music every Friday and Saturday, both locations. Incredible food every single day at Odie's Tavern from our man, Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 35 years. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers, of course, incredible sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get into both of those locations. The one we were at last night, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood, it's Odie's Tavern.
You brought this game up to Harp because of one of the players in it. Again, this is a game. It is not a dual playoff elimination game, but it absolutely is an eliminator for Ole Miss. If they're not already eliminated, they certainly would be if they lost this one. They're a 7-point favorite on the road at Arkansas. It feels like much more of a difficult spot than being a 7-point favorite.
It does. Again, I'm going to say it. I'm wearing this out. If this was a night game, it would be different. I don't think Ole Miss loses this game. They're a stamped 7-point favorite, much like the Auburn Tigers. There's a reason they're a 7-point favorite. I just don't know if you can get consistency. If Arkansas plays like they did last week, and I know it's a completely different team, different roster, Mississippi State to Ole Miss, but on the road in Starkville, the way they were flying around the football, forcing the turnovers, forcing 5 of those, and Taylor Green, you heard Roman Harper say it, 6 total touchdowns. If he can bring the confidence over from that game, and this offense, this is, and I don't know if you remember this, you probably do. When we were at SEC Media Days, there were multiple people that said, talking to different coaches around the league, Bobby Petrino is going to win them a game or two that they shouldn't win just because of his ability to call plays. And they've already gone over 600 yards 3 different times, including last week. So maybe this is that special Bobby Petrino game.
Could be. I
think Ole Miss wins, but I don't feel great about it.
We thought maybe Petrino would be the head coach by now.
Yeah.
I mean, we had talked about that in the offseason, right? When would you fire Sam Pittman? And I don't know that he's done enough to save his job. I feel like he has.
Oh, with a win here, yeah.
Yeah, certainly with a win over Ole Miss, I think he does. But I think he probably already has. It's a lot like we talked about with Chris Doering yesterday, that some of it's not necessarily about record, but it's how you look getting to that record. And I just think Arkansas and Florida have been better football teams this year.
I mean, they're teams nobody wants to play. You get nothing out of playing those teams.
Yeah.
You're supposed to beat them, but, on a given Saturday, those can be really good teams.
I just think they have both played improved football this year, and
I agree.
I don't know if that's enough to save those two coaches, but I think they're both headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I just wonder internally, what the relationship is with Bobby Petrino and Sam Pittman, because people said this early, Sam Pittman needs to be looking over his shoulder. Bobby Petrino wants that job. Maybe Bobby Petrino doesn't. Bobby Petrino's got millions and millions of dollars. Maybe this is like a lane that he likes to be in now at his age at 63. Just call the plays, let Sam Pittman do all the delegating. But back to your point, their losses to Oklahoma State, I still don't know how they lost that game.
They gave it away in the second half, and looking back now, that is such a bad Oklahoma State team. I mean, that is just when you get to the end of the season and look back, that may be the one they regret the most.
Texas A&M, they lose by 4.
And look how good A&M is now.
Yeah, and then they get walked off the field against LSU, but that was when LSU had peaked.
Yep. Beat
but
Tennessee.
Still, 2 of their 3 losses came down to the wire. They've got that win over Tennessee right now. They've got that double-digit win over Auburn. So all in all, I think he's done a pretty good job this year.
So they're at 5 wins right now?
They are at 5 wins, 5 and 3.
Give me what they got after Ole Miss.
It's tough. Ole Miss, Texas, Louisiana Tech, and then at Missouri.
But they can get bowl eligible. They beat La Tech. That's a Conference USA team. They beat La Tech, get bowl eligible.
And then
I think they could beat Missouri. Missouri's far from a world beater.
Oh, I think their history with Texas, I think they can beat Texas.
Yeah, I think that is a legitimate path to 7, if not 8 wins for Sam Pittman, and that 100% saves his job right there. So those are just a few games around the Southeastern Conference. We'll discuss more and also unveil Little T and EG and see what they are dressed up as coming up today. All right, before we go to break Milo's, Lance, what's better than a Milo's cheeseburger? We always start by asking that question.
Yeah, how about free Milo's burgers? And that is on the table right now. How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, coworkers, or family could be chowing down on Milo's favorites. Best part, it is free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. Enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. So whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has you covered. Don't wait. Enter now. Maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
All right, EG and Little T unveil their costumes next, and a Halloween-themed 4 Downs from Tyler. Since it's a Thursday, that is all next on the Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Bryant Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoveredCrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoveredCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
All right, we continue on the Halloween Next Round. I tell you, the thing about this show that is unseen by you guys, and I need somebody, if somebody can let me know when Little T and EG are ready, because I'm trying not to spoil it, so I did not go out at the break and see them. The weird thing about this show that you guys do not see on the Halloween day is our suite is in a building that shares many offices. We don't own our own building. We are part of a much larger building. And we have great neighbors. I mean, we really do have great neighbors.
I would say that there are 30 to 40 active businesses.
Yeah. And on our particular hallway, there's a medical company, Baptist, Brookwood Baptist, one of our great partners, actually, on this hallway. We appreciate them.
Bassmasters used to be up here. Realty South is up here.
Realty South has a corporate office here in this building, a floor down. But on our specific floor, a medical office. There are 2 legal firms, one right across from us.
A hospice
one
service.
Just down a hospice service. There's a international trucking company that does international. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff. And we have to go to the restroom with those people.
I just did.
And when you walk out in the hall dressed like this, as
one of the attorneys was on his phone out in the hall.
Did he give you a look?
Yep, sure did.
Dressed as Lance, dressed as Scott, dressed as Tyler. You get some looks. And like, I assume they know it's Halloween, right? I mean, I pretty much everybody knows it's Halloween. So I assume they know it's Halloween, but I don't know if it always registers with them, especially me.
Well, I mean, I was told by Bo that, like, he wouldn't know it's me with this. Would you?
It really does not look like you. I mean, that changed your look significantly. Like, I know who you are, and I know you're a Rams fan.
So if I'm going to rob a bank going like this?
If you rob the bank, I think Lance might could get away with it, Tyler.
I saw somebody in the chat mention this, but you almost look like Hot Rod with the specs.
I did not like Andy Samberg.
No, the kicker, Blankenship.
Oh, Rodrigo Blankenship?
I thought you were talking about the movie Hot Rod.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got a... I don't think the Jerry curl worked as well as I thought. It's got more of a Danny McBride look to it.
Yeah, some people were saying that in the MyBookie.ag chat room as well, the Danny McBride. Now, Tom says, Tyler, when you go to the bathroom, you can pee out of your mouth. He's talking about
I guess I could.
He's talking about the Pop-Tart, by the way. You could pee out of the mouth of the Pop-Tart. Every time I look in there, I really cannot believe we get paid to do this, and B, that we're operating in a somewhat professional work environment. Somewhat. I mean, we are the reasons it is somewhat. If not for us, this is a fully professional work environment that we operate in. All right. Before we do 4 downs, let me remind you about New Life Art. That is our guy, Daniel A. Moore. NewLifeArt.com is the website, NewLifeArt.com. Couple of great paintings that they've got. One of those, Deuces Wild, celebrating that win over Georgia a couple weeks ago back at Bryant-Denny Stadium, almost a month ago now. 2 great number 2s making plays. Ryan Williams, the game-winning touchdown catch. Xavier Brown, the game-sealing interception. Deuces Wild, the latest work of Daniel A. Moore. And also one to honor the great Nick Saban and all that he contributed on Nick Saban's birthday here. You can remember this. All he contributed to Alabama football. You can see both of those at newlifeart.com. Code TNR at checkout helps you save. Use that code and save on your purchases of the great calendars they have, the wall art they have at New Life Art, newlifeart.com, code TNR, newlifeart.com, code TNR. All right, EG and Little T, do these go together? Are they together? Are they together? No, okay, so all right, EG first. All right, EG, come in. Here comes EG. And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what this is either.
EG is in blue with a bunch of balloons.
Are you a nerd rope?
And her
very close.
Nerd cluster. There is nobody. All right, go to the mic, EG. There's nobody that loves nerd clusters like EG loves nerd clusters. And the crazy part about it, keep it there.
Would anybody else have guessed that?
It would have taken me a second.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason it's a nightmare for me because I have my one bad THC experience with a nerd rope.
Yeah,
so.
Technically not an actual nerd rope.
No.
But,
nerd gummy clusters.
Yeah. You had never tried these until we went to California. That's what the crazy thing about it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought this was like from Statesboro.
No. In Pasadena, I said, let me try the famed nerd gummy cluster, and I never looked back. And here I am today.
I mean, she eats them all the time.
Probably once. I mean, I have a pack a day.
We'll be a pack a day of nerd clusters?
Or the gummy
You're either bringing
bears.
in gummy clusters or gummy bears.
Gummy clusters or gummy bears. That's the other thing she loves is those sweet and sour gummy bears.
Like, I don't know if you ever had to do the science experiment for the science fair. Did you have to do it back in the day, Brown?
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
I threw mine together much like this costume last minute. It
Volcano
was
was always the Georgia.
What rock music does to the growth of plants and just bullshitted the whole thing.
Oh, interesting.
Right, interesting.
Yeah. So I was going to. I lost my train of thought.
I mean, how could you keep a train of thought looking at this? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I feel really good about this. It was very cost effective as well to put this together.
That's right. On a budget.
I feel like I looked the part.
I know what it was. My science experiment. If you ate nerd rope every day and did meth, whose teeth would be worst in a year?
Probably nerds.
I don't know, man. That meth messes them up. Somebody said, it's Daniel, impossible to only eat one nerd cluster.
It is.
That is true.
Yeah. Slate says you look like a DNA strand.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with
Did you tape these, or are you having to hold them?
No, they're taped and held.
Taped and held.
I don't think the functionality of anybody's costume is really good.
It really isn't.
I think we're all in pain.
Mine is miserably uncomfortable. Lance
My face is itching.
I can imagine.
You've got tape in your hair.
I know. I had to get it to stay.
Oh, that is a problem.
Oh, EG. This is going to be.
You love your hair, and some of that is coming out.
It will.
Yeah, that's very good though, EG. I really like it, and very on brand for EG being a nerd cluster. And if you've not tried nerd clusters, convenience store near
we
you.
get sponsored by them?
We can try.
Work on it.
We can try.
Believe it or not, Hershey used to be a sponsor back in the day.
Seriously? Are you
showing me
Look what pops up all the time.
Yeah, Lance is now getting ads served up for Rick.
This is the glasses, and I was telling you guys the other day, like I hadn't Googled anything, and they started popping up during the show the other day. These specs.
We used to call them Rec Specs when.
I mean, Chris,
is that what you called them, Tyler?
Yeah, that was the brand.
I think that was a brand name. Was
Chris
Rec
kids
Specs.
who played soccer, but
Chris
also had
Sabo.
glasses.
Yeah, Kurt Rambis wore them.
Yeah.
Moses Malone would
Horace
wear
Grant.
them. You remember Moses Malone? He'd put his up on his on the top of his head to shoot free throws.
Rodrigo Blankenship.
Rodrigo Blankenship. That's who they said Dunaway, or that Lance. Sorry, Lance. Lance looks like is Hot Rod Blankenship.
How did Rodrigo get away from Georgia State or Georgia Southern and their great
they got
legacy
great
of kickers?
Yeah,
Georgia
we do
Southern.
have great kicker you.
Kicker you. Yeah, they're playing in the pros. All right, send little T in. We got to see what little T is. Great job, EG. That is a fantastic costume. Like when she was walking in, I could not figure it out what she was doing. She is struggling to open the door is what she is doing.
That one
I
caught.
thought it was about to get popped. I thought she was going to lose a nerd.
And then this is a succession like where everybody's clearing the building because they hear that big bang.
Pow, pow, pow. All right, here comes little T. I can't read it. 2 times. Little T is Dunaway. Look
I
at
love
that.
the shorts.
Yeah. What shorts are those, little T? They're Bama shorts.
Okay, we're going to officially need a waist size. Are we talking a 20?
Yeah.
I don't know. These are my brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
So,
two-time
he was
Emmy
kind enough to loan me some of his attire.
You've got a misprint, though, because it says, let me see, it's supposed to be pastor's husband, or it's pastor's wife, right?
Pastor's husband.
Yeah, he's a husband.
Okay.
But
in spite of what you might say.
Yeah,
Mud Puddle and Crypto
Oh, do you
King.
have the bald kind of
I
thing?
have a bald cap on. I don't really know how to work it, though.
Well, you've got the Noah Fafita rat tail coming out of the...
I know. I tried to braid my hair, and it's not really working great. But, yes, I do have a bald cap on. We miss you, Dunaway.
Yeah.
Please don't get mad at me.
Hashtag Mud Puddle.
If there's anybody up here that could get away with it, it is you or EG. Those are the two
and
that
I
can
don't
get
think
away
this
with
is like...
no, you're not making fun of it.
No, I feel
like
this
that you got the shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
Scott was a stained bed sheet last year.
Scott was a stained Dunaway bed sheet last year.
How did
goes to Dunaway in the Mud Puddle.
How did you find one of those landmine shirts? Those are collector's items.
Which definitely hurt his feelings, by the way.
You say that hurt his feelings, Scott, you think?
100%.
Tyler, the Pop-Tart shaking his head, too.
Wait,
Yeah.
how is Tyler seeing what he's doing?
I don't know. I can't see anything either. These
It's very
blackout
difficult.
glasses are impossible for
Wait,
me.
so the sheet last year, remind me.
It was the ghost of the Mud Puddle, right, Scott?
It was the
Yeah.
ghost of the Mud Puddle.
Yeah.
And Jim told me afterward he'll remember that.
Ooh.
Was he being serious?
I don't know.
I don't know. That means something from Jim.
I feel like this is an honor, though, for people to dress up as you
I
for
agree.
Halloween.
I mean,
he should be honored.
yes.
If you're watching Dunaway, this is a compliment to you.
Dude, our friend
it's all
Charlie Vitella
out
from
of love.
Charlie Vitella from the top rope.
What do you say? I can't see it.
Ooh.
She needs a pillow
I
for
was-
his gut.
Yeah, I was
Let's
not
don't
going to
do
do
that.
that.
Yeah, let's don't
I'm
do
trying
that.
to.
Did it cross your mind, though?
No, because I'm trying to. I want to live another day.
He wouldn't kill you. Again,
I'm just kidding.
there are two people that could get away with it, you and EG. And he,
Well, we're about to find out.
yeah, we're about to find out.
Wow,
Excellent
you,
job.
Dunaway.
Guilty.
Good job.
Excellent job.
Now,
Very
will you
good.
change immediately back, or are you going to... Will you keep that on, or are you changing immediately
I'm
back?
about to go change immediately
Yeah.
because
we
I'm
gotta
trying
take
to
photos.
Oh, okay. I'll wait till the photo, but like it's really days like these are really hard for me to work.
I
I'm
agree.
like-
I agree. As most days are. Let's.
Yeah.
We'll do a photo. Can we do a photo at 11?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do the
Yeah,
group photo.
I mean, we get to take our.
No, we gotta push through to the end of the show. Unfortunately, I've already warned Orlovksy. He's gonna love yours.
Yeah, I mean, he'll at least know who it is, right?
That is true. Yeah, I had to warn him and Harp. Like, you're gonna see us in costume. I think you'll get Lance's because I had no clue what Lance was gonna be. Mine's gonna require a little bit of context. I'll have to send you the video, so I've got to send both of them a video after they see it. All right, let's do 4 Downs presented each day by Slice. Tyler does them every single Thursday for us. This is Halloween theme, but it's brought to you by Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Head into one of those today for a slice and a salad for lunch. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home. From the Majaya special to the Hot Mama, the Soul Pie, local pizza, local ingredients. Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get in today. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
What is the best Halloween costume you've ever had?
I think the one I got the most compliments on, my favorite one on this show today was the Bobby Petrino. It's just always been a running joke on this show. And all I did was wear a neck brace and a Sugar Bowl hat and the bread, pull up like he had. My favorite one I think I've ever done, I went to a costume party one time as Fred Flintstone and Jennifer went as Wilma, and the costumes were so spot on, and it wasn't too cold, to walk around.
Yeah, it normally isn't Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
There was a freezing Halloween like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. So we were Fred and Wilma Flintstone, and I wish I could find, if I could find photos, I'd share them with Scott, but that's been a long time ago. This is probably just after college. And we got rave reviews. I mean, like, the Jennifer did the costumes, and they were spot on. So Fred and Wilma Flintstone was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I would say for me it was the Tupac, just because it was so detailed.
Now, I also did, Tyler, you've seen photos this is before you were with us, but I did Bob Ross and got tons of compliments on Bob Ross. I only did that as a Halloween costume because I had to wear the actual costume to the MAC game. Or did we develop that? I don't think I had to. I think I just said I'll wear it to get on TV, right?
Yeah,
was that part of the payoff?
I think it was part of the payoff.
Was it? I had to dress up in costume at a MAC game?
I'll tell you what the payoff was. You had to go to a MAC game and you had to make sure you were on television.
Yeah, so I was just
in order to make sure you were on TV, you did the Bob Ross.
Yeah, and the MAC game was after Halloween. So I did Bob Ross for Halloween and then did the MAC game afterwards. So I was sure to get up on TV. Now, the one I missed because of COVID, it wasn't a Halloween costume, but do you remember... So right before COVID, Tyler, I lost the bracket bet, and the payoff, which I eventually paid off after COVID, was I had to go to 10 states in 48 days. And the payoff was going to be right before the play-in game. You remember this, Lance? And I was going to go to the play-in games on CBS dressed as Burt Reynolds. I was going to dress as Burt Reynolds from Smokey and the Bandit and try to get on TV on CBS. Like I was going to stand behind the basket or whatever I could do to try to get on TV dressed as Burt Reynolds. But COVID canceled the play-in game, so I didn't get to go. So we never...
the difficult thing, look, I guess you can dress up as anything, but it gets a little more difficult after you've done it for so long, right?
It really does. I mean, you start to run out of ideas.
Well, and you gotta worry about, like, I had a really good idea, but boy, after a video I just saw, people would have gotten really banged up about it.
Oh, yeah. And by the way... I even on Halloween, you can't just add slutty in front of something and make it work. Slutty whatever.
Maybe you can't.
Are you not a slutty climber?
I'm not a slutty climber, and Tyler's not a slutty Pop-Tart. You're kind of a slutty NFL running back, though.
Just let your soul.
Second down.
All right. What's your favorite horror movie or Halloween movie, since I don't think you like horror movies, Brown?
I don't. We used to watch a lot of Friday the 13th around Halloween when I was growing up. I didn't watch a ton of the other stuff. I'm not a big horror movie
anybody
fan.
ever get knifed when they were having sex?
In Friday the 13th?
In any of the slasher films?
No, I think that was just to kind of bait you in, right?
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
It's kind of bait you in.
Yeah, you saw somebody having sex. Yeah. Somebody's about to get killed.
Somebody's about to die. Yeah. That's right, yeah. Or if they're just, if they're walking around with an obvious plan of escape, you're like, yep, they're about to get attacked and not use the obvious plan of escape. I did like Scream. I liked the first Scream.
Yeah, Scream was really creative, the first one. So, like, two of my favorite directors, Stanley Kubrick with The Shining, and then David Fincher with Seven. Seven is obviously more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But, like, girlfriend absolutely hates the horror stuff. I'm not a big fan, so Shining is off the table. So, like, Seven is one of those movies we can settle into. But I do believe Shining is the best horror film. What about you, Tyler?
I would go probably The Shining. Seven's also one of my favorite movies ever.
Very creative, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I would probably throw some of the Friday the 13th up there.
I'll tell you, so last night it came up in trivia, The Exorcist, and our man Bo up here was in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and he went to the iconic staircase where the mist is coming off in The Exorcist, and he took his son to see that, and he actually took a picture. That movie, I've watched it once, I'll never watch it again.
Tell Tyler, I don't know if Tyler knows this, you were how old the first time you saw The Exorcist?
The Exorcist, I think I was 4 or 5. Not my choice.
4 or 5 watching The Exorcist. Do you think that leaves a mark, Tyler?
Yeah, you've got me beat. My dad showed me Saw when I was 8 or 9.
Yeah?
So
your dad showed you Saw at 8 or 9?
Yeah.
I'm
similar
48.
Similar experience there.
Yeah, I used to get drugged to haunted houses and didn't want to go. I was never a big fan of the haunted house.
Yeah. Did you? I tell you what, they had one time in Gadsden, and me and Jason Reeves got, pretty much lost in it. They had an old, an abandoned Kmart or department store or something.
Yeah.
And they made it a maze, they put up plywood and made a maze, but it was completely dark. And this was before cell phones or anything like that, so you didn't have a flashlight with you. No lights allowed, and you had to find your way out of the maze. And my parents drove us to Gadsden to do it. We were too young to drive. And I remember getting out, and my dad said, "What took so long?" I was like, "Dad, it was hard." And he was like, "We saw groups come and go for an hour before you guys got they went in after you and came out 30 minutes before you did." I was like, "I guess we sucked at it."
Yeah, there's a abandoned factory or something when we were going up to Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. So when you're in Chattanooga, it's on your right. It is a massive property.
Yeah.
And if you're coming back from Knoxville, it's going to be on your left. But I was like, that would make maybe the greatest haunted house ever.
You know what I thought was the greatest haunted house ever? It's too late now, but after they closed the old Bryce Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
In Tuscaloosa, could you imagine putting a haunted house in that?
Yeah, you wouldn't need to. Just lock somebody there for a night.
Oof.
Third down.
Will Smith's daughter, Willow Smith, turns 24 today. So what's the best Will Smith role or movie?
I Am Legend.
I would agree.
Yeah, I thought he was so good in that. I've said this before, and Brown's a big Tom Hanks fan, but to me, Tom Hanks in Castaway, being able to act out with just basically a volleyball and doing that solo, and that's basically what he did it with his dog Sam, the German Shepherd, one of the saddest scenes in cinematic history. But I thought Will Smith was really, really good at his best in I Am Legend. It's a really good, even if you're not a sci-fi, just imagine being the last man on Earth.
That'd be tough. I'm
you
gonna
want to be the last man on Earth?
I don't. No, that's the thing I've never understood about the Doomsday Preppers. What about the world after Doomsday makes you want to be part of it? Dying is gonna suck in Doomsday. Whatever the Doomsday is.
I think the plan is just to be in the basement with your endless cans of beans.
Yeah, I don't like beans that much, Tyler. I do like beans, but not to eat them the rest of my life.
Have you ever seen, and not to get on a apocalyptic tangent here, I'm sure you've seen The Road, right?
Yeah.
The Road is a very good film. It is one of the most depressing you'll ever see, but they find that bunker and it's loaded up with food. And most people are like, why didn't they stay in the bunker? Can you imagine being in a bunker the size of a jail cell underground with a mattress on top?
It'd be terrible.
And that's your existence?
I don't want to live that way.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to make it a month in there.
Yeah.
You have no sunlight, no other interaction. You'd go crazy.
Pursuit of Happiness is, to me, the best Will Smith role. Very, very, he pursues happiness for 99% of the movie, and spoiler alert, gets it at the end.
Yeah,
it's a sad movie, but I thought he was fantastic in it.
He
gets happiness for one shot.
One shot of the movie. Yeah.
Really depressing. Zach says Omega Man with Moses, Charlton Heston from the 70s, better version of I Am Legend. A little more hokey. I've seen it, but I thought I Am Legend really, really good.
Fourth down.
All right, is your mic on, Tyler? I can't hear you. I can't hear the Pop-Tart. You accidentally turned your mic off.
Button. I couldn't see. Rob Schneider turned 60 today. So which one of Adam Sandler's friends has had the best career or best role?
Do we consider Chris Rock a friend?
I was going to throw him in the mix just because he's part of that Grown Ups cast.
Yeah, I would say he's had the best career. I'm trying to think of standalone. He was Pookie in New Jack City. Which wasn't a great role. I don't know. I can't think of any of those guys that have had good roles.
I really can't either. I don't know where I would go with this.
Maybe David Spade and Tommy Boy.
Well, if I need
was Chris Farley not count?
I guess he would count.
Yeah, I guess. Like if I need somebody, the most sarcastic man on the planet, it probably is David Spade.
Yeah,
plays it really well.
I loved him. On Weekend Update.
Yeah.
All right, that's 4 Downs presented by Slice.
What was the Look Kids? There's a shooting star. Or what did he say about Eddie Murphy? That Eddie Murphy got so pissed and called it racist.
Oh, I can't remember.
You remember that?
No, the one I remember was Demi Moore. Like, hey, Demi Moore, how about a little Demi less? That was so good.
Funny guy. 5 locations, lunch or dinner. Stop and see the Bajaga Brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers, Chris and Jason, continue to celebrate his legacy. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right, thank you very much, Tyler. Excellent job out of you. Dan Orlovksy going to join us in about 10 minutes to talk NFL. I saw this tweet earlier. For what it's worth, I saw this tweet earlier, and I'm going to have to pull it up here. I was unaware of this, and I don't know, Lance, if this is new or if I just completely missed it. It is entirely possible that I just completely missed it. I miss a lot of things. As you know on this show, I am the king of reading a headline and not reading a story, and I miss a lot of things that way. But Brett McMurphy, our buddy with Action Sports Network, tweets today. Because of existing bowl deals and regardless of seedings being a key here, the SEC champion will open the college football playoff in the Sugar Bowl, the Big Ten champ in the Rose Bowl for proximity reasons, ACC champ in the Peach Bowl. He says proximity reasons. What if Stanford had been your ACC champion or Cal? Nothing close about that. And the Big 12 in the Fiesta Bowl. I didn't know that's the way it would go. I did not know the SEC champion was automatically in the Sugar Bowl in the playoffs.
I did not know that either.
Because we've talked about the possibility of Georgia, which would still be alive, but probably not now, of playing 4 games in Mercedes-Benz Stadium this year. They played Clemson, SEC championship game, and we discussed the possibility of them being the 1 seed in the Peach Bowl, or 2 seed or whatever in the Peach Bowl, and then playing the national championship game there. But based on this, if they are the SEC champion, that absolutely cannot happen. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that's the way the playoff was set up. It's brand new to me.
I mean, for Brett to tweet that out, I guess a lot of
Brett
people
knows what he's doing. Yeah, but I mean that was a surprise to me. I had no earthly idea that's where it would stand, and that the SEC champion automatically is in the Sugar Bowl. So that's the way that works. That was brand new to me. Brett McMurphy, as Scott is showing you, sends that out earlier today from the Action Network. So bear in mind, if you're a fan of any of those schools that are in playoff contention and buying tickets, New Orleans for the SEC fan is where you're going to want to be. If you're an ACC fan, you're going to want to be in Atlanta, and plan accordingly. All right, HydroLive, our buddy Daniel Jones, our quarterback up here. He'll be up here next week, right?
Yeah.
To pump some juice in you.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. Very important. Mention the next round, 20% off any and all of those great services. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also a Tuscaloosa location. Very important that you mention next round. Get 20% off. Inquire about the weight loss therapy as well. For more information, you can book an appointment online. They can actually send a nurse to your home or business. Go to hydrolivetherapy.com.
A lot of people saying we missed Kevin James in your question there about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, the King of Queens was huge.
King of Queens was a TV hit. Now his movies
was pretty good.
I'm not a fan, but
movies aren't.
But
great.
hey, look, he's
a lot of people watch King of Queens.
Printing money. What was it? The Mall Cop.
Yeah, Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah.
That is awful.
Yeah, I did not like that one myself.
I'll never forget. We used to have Mike Vrabel, Papa Vrabes, regular guest. Remember back in the day? And
Papa Vrabes.
And Vrabel was on with us one time, and he had to cut the interview short because he was taking his kids to see the Mall Cop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he admitted that to you guys.
He did, yeah.
Papa Vrabes, former Titans coach. I mean, he used to be a weekly guest with you and Fitzy and ended up being an NFL head coach.
Yeah.
What was he doing when he was a guest with you guys?
At that point, he was actually still playing for the Patriots.
Oh, okay. So he was just doing like a weekly NFL
he was just
thing.
doing a weekly hit. And
gotcha.
I think he got Under Armour gear. That was back before
that was the
we
trade.
actually paid, yeah.
Yes.
The old barter.
The old barter system. I love that. I'll send an NFL player Under Armour gear.
I'll give you an ear of corn for Manhattan.
That would have been a great deal. All right, we've got Dan Orlovksy in the next hour. Also trash. That is all coming up right here on the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Yeah. All right, it is the next round. It is Halloween costume day. Lance is Eric Dickerson. I'm Eric Wanamaker. You'll hear him in Trash coming up, or hear about him in Trash coming up from Tyler. Tyler is the Pop-Tart, one of the great American snack foods and breakfast foods. Did you eat a lot of Pop-Tarts when you were a kid?
I ate a ton of Pop-Tarts. Remember I told the story before, the only thing in the fridge was a piece of cheese, and so I put the piece of cheese on the Pop-Tart, mic'd it for 20 seconds.
Yeah?
And it actually wasn't bad. Now, I would rather just go with the Pop-Tart, but you know when you're hungry, you add extra stuff sometimes.
Right.
But yes, I ate a ton of Pop-Tarts. The old school toaster, too. Put a little butter on top of the frosting to really make it unhealthy.
Right.
And then put it in the toaster, pop that thing up. I was a big fan of the Pop-Tart. I have not had a Pop-Tart in forever, though.
Do you like the toaster strudel?
I like the toaster strudel. I didn't like it as much as the Pop-Tart, though.
Yeah. I had a
Toaster strudel never gives you enough icing.
I'm with Tyler. I would like them to pack in some icing there.
You gotta ration it out to get good toaster strudel.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. You know what we do at our house on Saturdays, Tyler, because my little one loves cinnamon rolls. We do cinnamon roll Saturday. And Jennifer Brown, she doesn't eat a cinnamon roll, so it's just me and Hallie. So she takes the icing and just dumps the cinnamon roll out and does icing on 4 instead of the 5.
Oh, are you talking about the Pillsbury?
Yeah. They don't give you enough icing.
No, they don't. So it's basically lard in that little cup.
That is right.
It should be bigger.
Cup should be much larger.
But
I should have to throw icing away.
If you're able to ice it up as much as you want, those Pillsbury cinnamon rolls are some of the best ever. And I don't know how they, back in the day, I used to love to pop the can. Did you ever pop the can of the biscuits?
Yeah. Now, all you really have to do is twist it, but
it was like Mark Mangino in a can. You hit it, and then he just came out.
Yeah, that's right. It all spills out from you. All right, Dan Orlovksy is coming up. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken brings you this hour of the show, champyschicken.com. Sterling and the crew there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They've just thrown the doors open. I don't know if they're dressed for Halloween. We saw one of Sterling's costumes not long ago. Maybe they are dressed for Halloween. Go by and see for lunch today. All the great tailgate food for your tailgate trips this weekend. Champy's Chicken, right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. The great chicken, the great sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the great po' boys, all right there. Champyschicken.com. That is champyschicken.com. I disagree completely with Richard. He said orange rolls are better.
Oh, I disagree with you.
I like the orange rolls.
I've never liked orange rolls.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the orange roll.
I mean, I don't hate them.
I think it's a nice change of pace. There's we'll call it local, it is, and they will put the orange roll on the side of the salad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I do like it then. That's a moment. I like to, dredge it in that dressing because I get that spicy dressing with that salad. So I like to, just drag it through there and enjoy an orange roll. But given the choice, cinnamon roll or orange roll, I am 100% cinnamon roll. 100% of the time, I'm going to go cinnamon roll over orange roll. Do you agree as we wait on Orlovksy? Do you agree with what Harper and a lot of people are now saying? And we'll talk more about this game later today and tomorrow, that Texas A&M absolutely has their both hands full and then some with South Carolina, 6:30 ABC.
Yeah, and I think this is what could separate Mike Elko from some of those fast-talking politicians. Elko is such a good coach, and I think he will have his team super prepared. I just don't know how dominant A&M is. You ask Roman Harper, where would you put them in the pecking order? And it's hard not to put them right there at the top.
Well, he had them 1A, 1B.
They're the only, undefeated team right now in the SEC standings at 5-0. It's just, I think they're good. And I think they've got a great shot at making the college football playoff, but I think almost all of these games are going to be losable. Now, South Carolina's lost 8 straight against ranked teams. A&M, I think Marcel Reed is definitely the better option. Like, I haven't seen a good Connor Wegman yet. Have you?
No, I have not. I think I'd stick with Reed.
I think I would stick with Reed and just the dynamic he brings. And, look, we're just going to run the football. We're going to play solid defense. We're going to force turnovers. And 7-1 is the best start for an A&M coach since who?
R.C. Slocum?
Dana Bible.
Dana Bible?
1917.
Well, if a guy's got a last name Bible, you don't see that anymore. That's going to be an old coach. All right, let's talk some NFL with Dan Orlovksy. He joins us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Dan with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code next round to double your initial deposit. MyBookie.ag, code next round. What do you say there, Dan? What's going on, buddy?
What's going on is that okay, so Eric Dickerson won. I see that.
Yep.
I'm going to take a couple shots at this, okay?
Yeah, you're not going to get mine. I've told you it's going to require context. I'll probably have to text you a video.
You're not the dude from Cool Runnings.
I am not the dude from Cool Runnings. Wasn't that what Harper said? Did Harper say that?
Did he say that? No, Harper said the guy from Half Baked.
Yeah, Roman Harper had me from Half Baked. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I can't see perfectly. I thought that may have been like a Jamaican beanie you have on.
Yes, I was very close.
But Dan, since you brought it up and it's the obvious Eric Dickerson, a little unfair. I brought this up. Now, I know I'm a biased Rams fan, but he still does have the single season rushing record. And when we talk about, and you grew up watching, obviously playing the game, watching the game, big fan. But we always talk about Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton. Nobody talks about Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't even, like I grew up Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown. I don't know if we probably see enough of highlights of Eric Dickerson. You often see highlights of Jim Brown and Earl Campbell and Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. I don't know if I've seen a ton and or enough of Eric Dickerson highlights. I know he's an unbelievable back and an all-time great, but for some reason we don't see him as much as the others.
And you never see that style. He was a big back that ran straight up and just kind of glided. And you just don't see that style.
Derrick Henry-ish, right?
Yeah. Well, you're right. Maybe the best running back in football right now. Outside of Derrick Henry, yes.
Yeah. Dan Orlovksy from ESPN with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Not that you were ever in a locker room that experienced anything like this, because it's a relatively unique situation, but you played in the NFL, you know how the league works, and you talk to people that are still in the league. What is the reception in the locker room? What is the locker room like for a guy like Tyreek Stevenson that just makes a bonehead play, and it doesn't necessarily directly lead to the loss, but it certainly felt like it contributed to the loss? What happens in a locker room for a guy like that?
Yeah, you're probably relatively widespread of what the response is. There's certainly going to be guys right after the moment that are furious and disappointed and you got to be kidding me, or Tyreek, how could you do this? Or, you're the reason we lost. And then there's going to be part of your locker room that, is a little bit of muted to it. And then I think there's a part of your locker room that's probably the opposite. Like, listen, Tyreek's one of the reasons why we were in that game, and he's going to be a huge reason why we're going to win games in the future. And he's a pivotal part of our team. And so like you hope that the latter outweighs the former, and you hope that your leadership steps up. And two things could be true at the same time. Like, listen, this is unacceptable. We can't do this. This is not who we are. This is what we've been in the past. Now we're going to be in the future. But also, we move on from it. We got to. Everyone learns from this, and we all have to we all could have been better. Any of us could have been Tyreek type of thing. And so the leadership is paramount in that moment.
Okay, I want to bring college and NFL together just for one question, because you're a former quarterback. I know you're still a big fan of the college game, but there is a theory out there when it comes to Jalen Milroe. And I remember you guys cutting it up after the Georgia game and people saying, man, this guy should be the number one guy taken overall. Since that moment, his game has changed a little bit. We speculated maybe he's hurt just because you don't see that explosion. He's not running the football. There is a theory out there that people close to him are saying, you've got to refine your game throwing the football. You've got to show that you can be a great pocket passer. My thought is, if I'm a general manager, the reason I want him is he's so dynamic. Lamar Jackson, the obvious example. Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. Those guys, what makes them so dangerous is the ability to do what they can with their legs. Am I off on this?
No, not at all. I've heard that about other guys in the past as well, that have had people in their ears saying, play to this certain style or don't run. I had heard that about CJ Stroud coming out when it came to, hey, CJ was kind of guided towards not running because of the health. And like that was the best thing to stay healthy because he knew he was going to be a higher draft pick. Whether that's true or not, you had heard rumors of that. I think that it's fair to say this. All of those guys that you mentioned, they're elite passers and elite throwers of the ball. And then the ability to run makes them truly special. I think Jalen's an elite runner, and his ability to throw gives him the opportunity to be truly special. But the reality is, in the NFL, 99 out of 100 times, maybe 100 out of 100, you got to be elite throwing the ball. And then to be special, you have the ability to run. And I don't think Jalen's flipped that just yet. Can he get there? For sure. But he hasn't flipped that just yet.
Dan Orlovksy joins us weekly courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. They double that initial deposit that you make. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. You mentioned Houston, or CJ Stroud. His team, Houston, is in action tonight against the Jets. They are a 2-point home favorite. I asked Lance this earlier. I mean, at some point we're going to get to this is do or die for the Jets. Are we there yet? Is it too early in the season to say this is do or die for them?
Oh, no, not at all. I would tell you we're past it. Candidly, I would have told you I really thought Sunday Night Football 2 weeks ago was a must win. And then last week for me was the do or die versus a New England team that, had backups everywhere, and to lose that game. So I think now it's a little bit of, can they save face a little bit? Can they play with personal pride? Can they, I guess, make it interesting, make going to work interesting on a daily basis? You're getting into the time of year where, this is just the truth. They're one of those teams, and in geographically one of those locations, weather starts to turn, it starts to get cold and gray. You don't necessarily want to be 3-10 going to work every day, knowing that you're not necessarily in their situations even more unique, because this is a go get it done year. Like, it's hard to envision if it continues on this path that the people that are there, both decision making and player, that they're a part of next year. So it feels like you're playing for almost nothing in a way.
Look, I know the Chiefs are going to end up winning the AFC West, but Denver's won 5 of 6, and they are starting to get sneaky good, in my opinion. Do you think Denver is a postseason team?
I do not know. I think it's a postseason defense. I do not believe that the offense is good enough. I don't think it's consistent enough. I don't think it's explosive enough. I don't think they can control the game enough. There's been moments, and Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix do have a good connection, but I don't think that offense is good enough against teams like Buffalo and the Chiefs and the Ravens. Even we'll see what happens with the Chargers. Chargers handled them 2 weeks ago. So I don't see them as a playoff team. No, but they're playing good, solid, improved football.
Yeah, I think one of those teams you might have been searching for, maybe you said it, I didn't hear it, the Texans. The Stephon Diggs injury, what does that do to the Texans?
Yeah, it's an impactful injury. I mean, Stephon's a very good player, a very good complementary piece to Nico Collins. I don't think this derails their season or ruins this season. I was higher on Houston than I am right now. I love their defense. I love CJ. Nico has to get healthy. But the interior of their offensive line and their pass is a massive concern. That is more likely to derail their season for me. But that's not their biggest issue right now. It's protecting CJ Stroud.
A few more moments of Dan Orlovksy, presented by mybookie.ag, code next round. I don't suppose this is the end for Anthony Richardson, but Flacco is good enough to keep them in the discussion. Is this the end of this season, do you think, for Anthony Richardson?
It certainly seems that way, if not for injury. It certainly sounds that way when Shane Steichen says he's the guy moving forward. Yeah. And so, I don't think saying this could be the end of his time with the Colts is outrageous. It's one of those situations where, as time has gotten past Sunday, for me, I feel it's way more about being the quarterback than playing quarterback with Anthony. It's about the everyday commitment, the leadership, the intangibles, the work ethic, the character, more than you're not developing as a passer. I think that I find it interesting that when you take the young man, he's a developmental project. Like, he is, but you're so encapsulated by the talent. And then, injuries derail some of that development, but you weren't going to develop in 13 games. Like, very few players have ever developed in 13 games. So for me, it's so much more about just the play on the field. That's my takeaway. And it's hard to see, because I think this team will be competitive. It's hard to see going into year 3 going, yep, Anthony's the guy, when he's only played 13 starts and you benched him. Yeah, I don't, it's hard for me to envision how this plays out in a best case scenario for the Colts when it comes to that player.
Okay, before you get out of here, Eric Dickerson's got to ask a question about the Rams in the NFC West. I know injuries have really caused a lot of chaos in that division, but now with Cooper Kupp back, Puka back, the offensive line, starting to gel a little bit. Sean McVay said we can't start a streak without win number 1. They win 2 games in 5 days against the Raiders and the Vikings. Now they go to Seattle. If the Rams can stay healthy, I know they're 3-4 right now. What can the Rams be at the end of the year?
I think they do. I expect them to win the division. I think that it's the best young defensive line in football. I think with those receivers healthy, they can go score on anybody. Obviously, Matthew's playing as good as he did last year. They're going to get 2 of those offensive linemen healthy back and within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Yeah, that would be, if they stay healthy, that's my pick to win the division.
All right, he is Dan Orlovksy. See him all weekend long on ESPN. Are you doing college football this week? You skipped a Bama game and they won 34-0. So Alabama fans love you, but they're like, why don't you not do it?
No college football this weekend. I have to do work all day Saturday for ESPN, commercial shoot, and then travel Sunday to Monday Night Football. But I do think there's the chance that I'll be there next week for the LSU game.
Oh my gosh. Orlovksy back just in time for a must-win game for the Crimson Tide. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Dan, have a great weekend, man. Thank you very much for the time.
All right, boys.
All right, take care. Dan Orlovksy with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Double that initial deposit, and you can win anything right there. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. You make your initial deposit. They double it with code next round at MyBookie.ag. Thank you very much to Dan for coming on the show. We always appreciate his time talking some NFL. As you can tell by looking at Lance Taylor, look at that, what Dr. B has done to LT. I mean, that is very, very impressive.
It really blew up.
Overnight.
Yeah, overnight.
Yeah. You got some on your upper lip as well.
Yeah,
some of whatever
over
you're
the
doing.
place.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. B wants to remind you, if you are thinning out, I don't know if he can ever do this for you, but he can help you maintain what you've got, grow some of that back. Call Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff today. Schedule the consultation that I did over 3 years ago, 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, Dr. B has taken pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results. Women and men have turned to him for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He can help you today. Call 205-319-0316. Tell him the next round sent you. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. You see this now. T3hair.net for more information.
Massive division game this weekend that actually we didn't talk a whole lot about with Dan, his former team, Lions at the Packers. It looks like Jordan Love is going to give it a go in this game. You expect to see Jordan Love?
I expect to see Jordan Love. He just kind of got gimped up against Jacksonville and allowed Jacksonville to get that backdoor cover. Jordan Love, though, turning the football over way too much. Like, to me, Detroit has really separated themselves in that division. I still think Green Bay's good. I think, we'd be talking about Chicago in a different light if they didn't give up the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Minnesota is still a really good team, but I think the cream of the crop is Detroit. I think Detroit, you can make an argument, the best team in the NFL, definitely to me the best team in the NFC right now.
They're a 3-point road favorite, the Lions are, at Lambeau Saturday for the late window there on
I'll be
Fox.
playing Green Bay, though.
Well, I mean, do you think that, what's that number if you knew you had a healthy Jordan Love?
The same, probably.
Oh, really?
Just
so you don't think that's a Jordan Love number?
No,
yeah.
I just think Detroit's been so dominant right now.
Right. Yeah, they feel like the best team in the NFL at this point. Detroit does. 3-point road favorite. Lance says, heads up, I'll be on Green Bay on that one. Is that going to be at lanceslock.com or was that just you?
I think it'll be at lanceslock.com.
Wow, so you've already identified this one early in the week.
I think Jordan Love will play well in this game. It's just, you've got Detroit that you've got to figure out that there's not really a way to defend them because they can absolutely – and I thought it was interesting that Brock Heward said this on Unlock Monday. If you haven't seen that, that's up and available right now on demand. But Brock said it reminds him the closest thing that he has seen since the greatest show on turf. And
I would agree with that.
I mean, because you've got Gibbs and Montgomery back there. Yep. You've got a slew of receivers. We'll see what happens with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, he's in and out of the lineup with injuries, suspensions. Just a little bit
Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the way Jared Goff's playing, it's the best offensive line in football. You just have to outscore that team.
Yeah, you really do, and nobody's really consistently been able to do it. So you're going to go against Dan Campbell the same week that I gave you the Dan Campbell all-time cover stat. There's never been a head coach better against the spread than Dan Campbell. That's a perfect time to go against him.
Time to fade him.
That's a perfect time.
We ain't going to fade him all year, but we're going to fade him Sunday.
That's the perfect time to go against him. Tyler, can we potentially do the spotlight here? The college football spotlight. Every single day we give you a spotlight. On Mondays we give you the stock report, stock up, stock down. Tuesdays we give you the upset alert. When we pick a game, Wednesday we give you maybe one of those games that's flying under the radar a little bit for you. Sneaky good game. Today it is the tradition in college football. Our college football tradition is the spotlight. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
College football's best traditions.
And our spotlight, I'm all tangled up here with this stupid headphone here. Our spotlight today presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. You rent from McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company. You can depend on all kinds of vehicles to choose from, including trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. We make it easy to rent. We get you in and out fast at McCurry. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, and Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest. Skyland Boulevard, also in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com. Random game this week that Lance will be interested in. We've actually talked to Auburn's quarterback about this game because he used to play in the stadium in which the game will be played. It is Indiana playing Michigan State. The Big Ten has a lot of trophy games. Do you know the trophy they play for in this game? Indiana, Michigan State.
The spittoon.
Wow, look at you. It is the old brass spittoon.
Is that right?
That is 100% right.
There you go.
All right, so there's a look Scott's giving you at the old brass spittoon they play for. So before we tell you.
Didn't Dunaway's grandma
have a spittoon?
No, she spit snuff in it.
So that's what most people did with a spittoon, and we were going to give you the history of the spittoon, which is, when you say it a lot, it just sounds weird, before we tell you about playing for the old brass spittoon. But the spittoon itself was created in the late 1800s, early 1900s, because a lot of people apparently like to chew tobacco. They would spit on floors. They would spit on sidewalks. It became disgusting. So organizations like pubs and bars and brothels and hotels would start using spittoons, and you would spit in that, and then some poor soul would have to go empty it when it got full. Can you imagine that?
Have you ever had a buddy like drop a spit cup in your house?
Not drop one, but I've had somebody leave one in my car. And you look down like you drop them off somewhere, and you look down.
You ever taken a sip of the spit cup?
You know what? You're not going to believe this, but as a kid, I accidentally did. And my parents.
Do you immediately throw up?
I spit it out immediately. I spit it out. Yeah, as a kid, unfortunately, did that.
Someone dropped a cup full of dip spit in your house?
No, well, normally it's like a water bottle. Put a little napkin in there, spit, and sometimes it's happened.
Oh.
That's pretty bad.
They would not be welcome back over.
Tyler bans them for life after that. Holy crap, Tyler.
I mean, I'm
tough host.
I'm not hating your decision.
There's just a little mistake there, Tyler. Everybody makes them. Hey, so how did Michigan State and Indiana end up playing for an old brass spittoon, right?
How did they?
Well, there's the question, Lance. In 1950, Michigan State was coming off a rousing 36-33 win over Notre Dame. Big win for Michigan State when you beat Notre Dame. And they were about to play Indiana. You know what everybody was afraid of? Letdown. We don't want to let down. So this old cat named G. McDermott decided, you know what? I'm going to find us a trophy so there's no letdown. So he and Class Secretary Virginia O'Brien hit the town to find something that would hold up and would inspire the football team. Something like the Little Brown Jug, which Michigan plays Minnesota for, right? So they're looking around in East Lansing, and they find themselves in an antique shop. And in that antique shop is a 1800s old brass spittoon, which paperwork said was taken from a trading post around what is now East Lansing. As the story goes, residents of both Michigan and Indiana would pass by the trading post and use the spittoon while hunting and fishing in Michigan. Therefore, the battle for the spittoon was born. They bought it from the antique shop back in 1950. What do you think it cost them?
1950, I'm going to say it cost them $11.
$25, which seems expensive today, seems even more expensive in the 1950s. But to become a rivalry, they had to get the Indiana folk on board. So as one would do in the 1950s, they sent a telegram to the Indiana Student Senate telling them about the idea, and their reply, we, the students of Indiana University, hereby accept your challenge. So coming up this Saturday, everybody will be tuned in to the battle for the old brass spittoon, Indiana and Michigan State.
I really do think everybody will be tuned in. Do you think it's gotten to a point yet where people are pulling against Indiana?
I think Indiana's too good of a story. And now that you've got more playoff spots, like somebody like that randomly is not going to, it's going to knock somebody out, but it's not going to knock out.
I remember a couple of years ago when, was it San Diego State played for the national championship?
Yeah.
Butler's played for it before, and people are like, oh, they don't need to win the national championship. I wouldn't mind Indiana winning the national championship.
In college football?
Yeah.
Or basketball?
College football. No, I don't want to see it in basketball.
Oh, you want to see it in football?
Would you mind?
Would I mind what? Not pointing that at you anymore?
No, Indiana winning the national championship.
Oh, no. It wouldn't bother me. I mean, it's a good story. I don't think there's zero chance it's going to happen, but it's a good story.
Well, I'm not going to say it's zero. I think what would be interesting, though, is moving forward how anybody could sell their program in the Power 5, you've got a shot, or the Power 4, right?
Oh, yeah. If Indiana can do it, anybody can. And it would also show you the power of the transfer portal because Curtis Rourke is what has changed them.
Yeah.
And he should be back for this Michigan State game. Old Brass Spittoon, 70 decisions. How many wins do you think? Who do you think has the lead and how many wins do they have?
I think it is 51-19 Michigan State.
50-18 and 2 ties. Michigan State.
Damn, that was
pretty
close.
That was
all
crazy.
over your tradition today.
Yeah, you nailed it. You knew what a spittoon was. You knew they played for it. You knew who's got the lead there. Very impressive by Lance McCurry, Van and Car Rental, McCurryrentals.com. All right, before we get to trash, Lance, Hemp Hill Services again. My wife, I've held her off all the way to November. We've gotten to November, not had to use the heat. But at some point, you're going to have to hit that heat. You want it to be ready to go.
Make sure it is ready to keep up with the changing weather. 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
We do trash when we return. What open is Tyler going to pick? What trash open would he possibly pick today? We'll find out next on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
All right, trash coming up here on the Halloween edition of The Next Round. Before we do that, CPAP Plus bringing you part of the show today.
Hey, if you're looking for the best CPAP gear out there with personal service you can trust, you can Google CPAP Plus, stop into one of those 3 convenient locations, Pelham Highway 280, Trussville. Go see the O'Neill brothers. They're CPAP users themselves, so they know exactly what you're looking for. New customers for The Next Round viewer and listener, mention The Next Round to these guys. Get a $20 credit towards the purchase of a new mask system, a CPAP cleaner, or even a travel CPAP machine. Stop by today. CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment, all in stock, all ready for you with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Your kids have aged out of this. Do you miss the trick-or-treating?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
I do. And I remember the last night I ever took Jack was in your neighborhood, and it was that freezing cold night.
Oh, I remember that.
And he went as Steve from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's right.
And, yeah, man, it's sad. You know, I was talking to my buddy C. Stu yesterday, and he said, what are the kids going as? And I was like, my daughter's 21 and my son's 17.
Yeah.
They're going as themselves.
That's right.
We're the idiots that are dressing up.
I know. I'm the adult that's dressing up.
Yeah, but I do miss that, man. That was fun walking door to door with them. And I don't know. For anybody out there with the young kids, I know people say this all the time, really enjoy it, live in the moment, because it goes so fast. And I remember having the old Ram truck and Jack and his buddy Ryan driving around Meadowbrook, and it was raining one night. And I remember trying to remember what Jack, I remember Ryan was dressed up as a soldier.
That's what Helly is today.
Okay. I forgot what Jack was, but them getting in and out of the back of the truck and running up and getting, you know, the candy. That's good memories.
Yeah, no, it really is cool. So enjoy that with all your kids out there. Everybody be safe. If you're driving through a neighborhood, just drive slower tonight. I mean, I see people flying, and I don't want to be the old man yelling at the clouds in the front yard, but you see people flying through neighborhoods on Halloween. Dude, there's just kids everywhere.
Yeah.
Just take it easy.
Yeah. And I don't know what it was like in Anniston, but, you know, I grew up in Forest Brook, this neighborhood, and I'm going to estimate we had 60 houses, and we would start early before the sun would set, and we, you know, us and the Flints and the Deadcots, and we had, what?
The who's?
The Deadcots.
Deadcot.
Yeah.
Cock?
Okay. Cots.
Cot
Yeah.
with a T.
Yeah.
Deadcots.
With a
okay.
DT.
You have
Yes.
DT. All
Yeah.
right, go ahead.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we would have pillowcases instead of bags.
Oh, yeah.
And those things, we would even go back to the house, dump it out, and go back out. Like make 2 rounds sometimes.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But it was like a 4 or 5 hour grind of just getting as much candy as possible. And all that candy mixed together was that awful smell. And we would eat on candy until the spring.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, that's going to last you a while. That's the worst part about it is there's always now candy sitting on the counter in the kitchen. So every time I walk in the kitchen, it's so easy to just grab a little Kit Kat or whatever and eat it just like that, you know?
That's been my problem with the bowl in the lobby.
Yeah, somebody brought us. Yeah,
they dropped them in every business.
Every business up here, a bowl of candy, and I have partaken in some of that, Tyler. I don't know if everyone up here has.
I keep grabbing the Airheads and the Reese's cups.
Yeah, I did not empty it out, but I have partaken in it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't need it in the house.
Yeah,
because you know I got up in the middle of the night last night, got me a bowl of cereal at like 1:30. Don't need to be eating a payday at 1:30. Don't really need a bowl of cereal.
John says he lives in Point Mallard Estates up in Decatur, and they have over 500 trick-or-treaters tonight. That is a lot. They live on a half-mile circle.
It's kind of exciting. Like we don't have any
trick-or-treaters. He got 60 pounds of candy.
Like there was something fun when we used to have trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
And because I know it's exciting for the kids.
It is. So, but you've never been one of those turn off the front porch light. We don't want to
No.
You go past those houses that are completely
I'll
dark.
tell you, like, I don't know what to do tonight because we might have one.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave them hanging, but.
Are you still going to have under your Eric Dickerson?
No. This thing is going to be off in less than 23 minutes.
I know. Well, Tyler, I know you are. I am counting down the time right here. I am.
Well, it's funny.
I'm dying in here.
Yeah.
We have got somebody coming up here to give us a presentation at noon.
Let's just stay in the costumes.
Yeah. I'm sure they have no idea what they're about to walk into.
Yeah. Like, I know how they get frostbite on Mount Everest, but boy, you wear these around. Whew, that's going to be tough. All right. It is time for Trash. It's presented by Mortgage Right. Hit that button, Tyler.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right since day one of this venture. They are your mortgage experts, no cost or obligation to inquire about anything. Whether you're looking for your first home or final home, they are there for you. 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Another movie I've never seen, scary movie. The Wayans brothers, teaming back up for the first time in years to help bring their scary movie franchise back to life. Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans returning to film the series, to pen the script for the new project known for the satire with horror flicks. Scary movie franchise launched with the first movie hitting theaters in 2000 and spawned 4 sequels. Have you seen them, Tyler?
I have seen all of the scary movies.
How many are there? 4?
There
five,
were 4.
Five.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 1 and 4 sequels. I got you.
3 Wayans brothers will write and produce a new one with Rick Alvarez. 6th title in the franchise begins shooting next year ahead of a planned theatrical release. A director and release date have not been announced, nor has the premise. I'm sure it'll be something deep and complex. Anna Faris, I remember she got her start with this, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, she continued to send like tapes to the Wayans brothers. Like, I want to be in one of your movies. I want to be in one of your movies. They put her in a movie, and career blew up. I think that's right.
Richard says in the MyBook.ag chat room, he's shocked you haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, they honestly seem like your kind of movie, LT.
Really? Somebody get beheaded?
Well,
Are there subtitles?
It's a horror movie plus a comedy, so if you've seen like all the classic horror movies, you know what they're making fun of.
Yeah, but see, I'm not, like, I haven't seen any of the new, like, I've seen one Saw. I've seen the one Scream.
Right.
I just haven't seen a lot of the new, the Conjuring and all that kind of stuff. So I really don't know.
Mike D says the first one was great, he says.
And comedy is so difficult to do. I've said that before. So when you do the parodies, it's even more difficult. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like
Nicholas said you would hate them. Don't go.
Hey, Samurai Sword back in Trash on the Table. Man accused of using a samurai sword to attack his friend earlier this week in Daytona Beach is still on the run, according to police. Now, Walter Grimes, 25, right there, of Daytona Beach, had stopped by the victim's apartment along South Beach Street on Monday evening to, quote, hang out, reportedly upset over being currently homeless and having to walk with his belongings. Now, the victim told police he had known Grimes for about 2 years. When Grimes asked the victim if he was going to give him his Xbox, police said the victim replied in the negative. Now, according to the affidavit, Grimes then grabbed a samurai sword in the apartment, struck the friend twice across the left side of their face and upper shoulder.
Yikes.
Grimes had said nothing threatening to the victim and ran away after attacking him. Then the victim, who told police he was unsure if he wanted to pursue charges, was observed to have suffered an approximately 3-inch long laceration to the upper left cheek and an approximately 2-inch laceration to his left shoulder. I'm going to go on and press charges. The guy's homeless. He's going to probably do better in county. I mean, he's got a place to sleep.
So that's Walter?
Yes, that is Walter Grimes of Daytona Beach.
Interesting. Would you have looked at that photo and guessed Walter?
Nope.
Me neither.
Nope. Would not have.
Weird thing is, a similar thing happened to my friend. Somebody tried to attack him with a samurai sword over a Call of Duty game.
Okay, let's hear that story.
Yeah, please.
They were over playing Xbox at the guy's house, and there was he was a bit of an odd kid.
Really? The guy with the samurai sword was odd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He also tried to steal a shark from the McWhorter Center.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Wow.
Just
that would have been quite the heist.
I mean, your getaway car better be fast.
He gets mad that he loses in a game, so he grabs his samurai sword and takes a swing at my friend.
Did he land?
He did not, thankfully.
So what happens?
We did
Are
not.
they still buddies?
Oh no, we stopped hanging out after that.
Yeah, that was a good decision by you, young Tyler.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have any idea where the guy is now?
I don't know, and I'm kind of scared to look up. And,
so he might be no longer with us.
No, I wouldn't say that. He might have been the reason why someone else is no longer here.
Oh, wow.
Are you? Is the Pop-Tart making a suggestion, or you're just saying that in general? Like,
I mean, if you're going to the betting window right now that he has actually ended somebody, would you say yes or no?
I feel pretty safe putting down some money on it.
Wow, mybookie.ag, code next round.
There you go.
Wow, that's quite a story, Tyler.
Teachers berating their students for running through the corridors have a new hallway hazard to worry about. Grade schoolers are tripping and tumbling over their Crocs. Schools have increasingly banned the slip-on foam clogs over safety concerns, as well as arguments that the shoes, often accompanied by the customized stick-on charms called the gibbets, pose a distraction to other kids. Dozens of schools across more than 12 states have implemented Croc bans.
I think this is a good thing. My little one had Crocs. She no longer wears them, but she did get those things, the gibbets you're talking about right there, that you put in the little holes.
Layton had them back in the day.
I have heard, I did not have boys. I had two girls, but I've heard there are not many worse smells than boys' Crocs in the summer. That they just sweat in them, and that sweat just gets in the pores there of that. What is that, foam?
Yeah, it's foam.
Yeah.
Now, the bans follow an onslaught of viral TikTok memes showing teens recreating slipping on Crocs, tripping in their school hallways, a trend even Crocs acknowledged on the social media platform. So there you go. I really thought the Croc thing had died 20 years ago.
No, they made a big comeback. I think it had, Lance, but I think they made a really big comeback. It often starts with the kids, right? When kids want to wear them.
Yep.
And it made a pretty big comeback. I saw, where was I the other night? I tried to get my wife's attention to show her these Crocs. I can't remember where I was. But there was a lady wearing like bedazzled Crocs. I don't know how to describe them to you, but they were Crocs, but they had
Would you say tacky?
Oh, that's one way I would describe it, yes. But they had like diamonds like on the front, like on the toe, like bedazzled diamonds, and then on the heel as well. And I tried to get I can't remember where I was now, but I was trying to get Jennifer's attention to show them, but I couldn't be oh my God, look at that, because the woman would have seen me.
Okay, I'm about to.
Of course, she probably wants to be noticed if she's wearing bedazzled Crocs.
I'm about to throw some amounts of currency that you can't even comprehend. But a Russian court has ruled that Google owes around 20 decillion in fines for blocking the content of Russian media stations.
How many zeros is that?
That's 20 trillion. For comparison, Google is only worth about $2 trillion. The World Bank estimates global GDP to be around 100 trillion. This means the Russian court ordered Google to pay more money than there is on the entire planet.
Well, that's probably not going to happen then. Dr. Evil is the attorney.
Now, why did the court issue this ridiculous fine?
Why?
One which Google absolutely will not be paying anytime soon. Now, the drama began when Google restricted the YouTube channels of media outlets Skarsgrad and RIA fan in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russian court claimed that this was an infringement of free speech, and after winning a lawsuit against U.S. tech giant, handed down a fine of 100,000 rubles with a warning that the amount would double every single day. 4 years later, the fine has reached the laughable amount of 20 decillion.
I'm guessing they don't have any jurisdiction over Google, so there's no way Google has to pay this? Or are they wanting to settle? I mean, do you know?
Correct. Unless Google decided that they wanted to operate in Russia again, then this just means nothing.
Oh. So now, Google, you can't go to google.com in Russia, is what you're telling me.
They will not. I think, they took down their Russian division in 2022.
If Russians don't know an answer to something, where do they go?
I assume Russia will be building a Google alternative that has selective information on it.
Can't trust that, young Tyler. Cannot trust that when the government builds it.
Yeah, Google not sweating the fine. The company doesn't even have a presence there. Yeah.
How about that? Can't go to Google and.
Now I wonder if some of the brass of Google decided to tour Moscow, walk around Gorky Park, if they might end up not coming back.
They fall out of a building. That happens a lot there. Like guys that get on the wrong side of the
today,
camera.
Scott. That one shook it. Hey, we just got a Richter scale on the camera.
So you've hit the camera three times today?
3 times today.
He's been nailing it.
You know who you're better than? The Yankees in the 5th inning.
Maybe it's these goggles.
I thought you went to Michael's. God, I wish those goggles, like, if it improved your performance like 1,000%.
Just wear them all the time.
You had to wear them every day. Kurt Rambis did it.
There is a dollar amount that I don't know how I could do it, but I could figure it out.
You got a headache right now, don't you?
I do. Bad.
Yeah. Is it the one that starts with your nose getting pinched for 3
the
hours?
nose. It's going all the way through the skull right now. The lip itches. My ears itch. I don't know how my ears itch, but they do.
13 more minutes. Mortgage Right brings you trash.
Yeah, they are your mortgage experts. Again, whether you're looking for your first home, your final home, they are the guys that can handle. All the advice is absolutely free. 205-900-7200 or online, mortgageright.com.
And we appreciate them. And also Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy'sChicken.com. Sterling and all the gang, they bring you this hour. They are open right now for lunch at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. You can go by and get a great lunch. Enjoy that food for tailgates. Champy'sChicken.com. That is Champy'sChicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Champy'sChicken.com. We got a lot of college football coming up this weekend. I want to circle back because I want to pull up the mybookie.ag point spread for this Texas A&M South Carolina game. And I want to go back to something I think you said to Harper. You said it when we were discussing this game. Mike Elko sees practice every day. Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator, which, by the way, Colin Klein's getting rave reviews as the offensive coordinator. He sees practice every day. So you've got to assume these guys are good coaches. They're going to make the right call. You say, though, you saw your starting quarterback in the second half. You got to stick with him.
Yeah, the problem with Marcel Reed is
he only threw 2 passes in that half.
I don't know if he can consistently throw the football. I'm going to say he can't.
Well, he was 2 of 2, and that bomb was on the money.
Yeah.
But only 2 passes. You're not going to win games of the SEC.
I think Marcel Reed is your best opportunity to win.
And you would stick with him?
I would.
I feel like I've seen enough of Wigman to know that Marcel Reed may not be a significant upgrade, but he's certainly not a downgrade from Wigman.
Yep.
And then in that case, and we talked about this with DJ Lagway, I remember. Oh, I'm trying to remember who the guest was. Right before Florida went to Lagway, I think they were playing A&M, ironically, and they were going to go to Lagway. And I remember the guest was like, okay, answer these questions for me. Who's the most athletic quarterback? And we're like, Lagway. Who's the better passer? Lagway. Who's got the more Lagway? Who's got more time left? Then why are you not playing DJ Lagway? And finally, Florida has gone to Lagway. Now, that has been because Graham Mertz is hurting out.
But look, you never want an injury, but sometimes, look, this settles the debate, and you only have one option at that point.
Do you think if you go Marcel Reed, do you think we'll see Wigman in important game action? Not mop-up dude, but important game action again. Do you think they'll have to change again? Because Elko's already done it twice now.
Yes.
Well, I just don't know how many times you can do that in a season and get away with it.
Again, this is if they're able to go on the road to Columbia and win this game.
2.5-point favorites right now at mybookie.ag.
I randomly just got an invite to this game.
Did you really?
Yeah, there's zero chance I'm going, but
I tell people all the time,
it's a fun atmosphere, sneaky good atmosphere.
If you've never been to a game in Columbia, South Carolina, I highly recommend it. Those fans are passionate, and they've almost never had anything to be passionate about.
Yeah.
The cockabooses are cool.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah, it's a neat place. Now,
because they've got a 5 points too.
Yeah, they do, which is relatively new, like what they've built up around the stadium, I think. Now, the thing is, the stadium is it's like on the edge of campus. It's pretty much off campus because it's down at the fairgrounds. So it's not your typical campus experience, but it is a really cool stadium. So you're not going to do this. Was it a flight or you're driving?
I don't know the details.
You don't even like private jet to Columbia from Birmingham?
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. We've only got a few weeks left of college football.
Yeah, you kind of hate to miss one just to go to a game,
right?
Yeah,
like I had so much fun just laying on the couch last week.
I know. 2.5 is that game. Another game I want to ask you about, mybookie.ag for all these games. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Don't forget code NEXTROUND when you sign on at mybookie.ag. You make your initial deposit to start playing. They double that deposit. Double the deposit right away at mybookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND to get double that deposit. Code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. We mentioned Louisville, and I think we talked about this again at the end of the show yesterday, but I wanted to circle back to it. They're a 10.5-point underdog at Clemson. But this is a team, as you pointed out. Now, that Miami game really they scored very, very late to make that a 7-point game. But up until that point, up until the fourth quarter, really, it had been back and forth with them in Miami. But Notre Dame, they played within a touchdown. I watched that game. That game played basically within a touchdown. They've got one more loss that they play within a touchdown of. Was it SMU?
SMU.
Yeah,
that they lost 34-27.
So everybody they have lost to, you've got one loss, Notre Dame. you've got undefeated Miami, and you've got one loss SMU. So the combined record of all the teams they've lost to has 2 losses. So do you think they've got anything for Clemson? I mean, this is a little bit of a lower line than you would normally see on a game in Clemson. And this is a night game in Death Valley.
Again, I think the number is 22-1. Their 3 losses, combined opponents, Notre Dame, SMU, and Miami, and all those by 1 possession. Yeah, Louisville will come to play. Now, Clemson seems like they've turned the corner since that disastrous second half to open the season against Georgia. You can make the argument Clemson is the best team in the ACC, but this is a dangerous game because I think everybody's looking at this game. They've still got the showdown with Pitt. Oh, no, that's actually Louisville. But this...
No. Clemson's still got to play Pitt.
Yeah, Clemson still does have Pitt.
Yeah, they play Pitt. Yeah. Who's at SMU this weekend?
But this is, Clemson, I think the fans are already looking ahead saying, more than likely we're going to have 1 loss and we're going to play in the ACC championship game. This is a game you cannot overlook.
Yeah, you cannot overlook that. Pitt-SMU is another fascinating ACC game only because they're both undefeated in the ACC, which means they're in the loop to go to Charlotte, which means they're in the college football playoff discussion right now. Even SMU with that 1 loss. That 1 loss is BYU. That's a team that is currently undefeated and ranked in the top 10.
Well, it's injuries in this game too. Eli Holstein, who's been so good for Pat Narduzzi, 3-9 they were last year, obviously undefeated this year. He's got the hand injury. He's questionable. And then Kevin Jennings, SMU starting quarterback, has got the leg injury. He's questionable. So how healthy are the quarterbacks in this game? I think SMU wins the game. I think they got their scare. They were able to survive Duke, turning it over 6 times last week.
Right. So I mean, it's hard to be, for Duke, first of all, it's hard to be +6 in turnovers and lose a game.
Yeah, especially at home.
Yeah, and for SMU, and Duke was a 1-loss team at that point, I believe. And for Duke, it's hard to go on the road, SMU, hard to go on the road, turn it over 6 times and win a game.
Yep.
But that's how that played out. Now, it required a blocked field goal right at the end. That was a pretty good chip shot field goal, and SMU blocked it right at the end. And then I don't know how you felt about Manny Diaz going for 2 in that first overtime, which is what eventually was, the differential in points there. He goes for 2 and they don't pick it up.
Well, the thing is, I do believe a lot of times if you are the less talented team, go for 2 and walk it off. But if the other team has all the pressure on them and they're playing sloppy football and they're turning the football over.
They've turned it over 6 times.
Yeah, every other possession, I wouldn't have gone for 2 in that situation.
Well, that's what Duke did. They lost the game. SMU snuck out of there, played very, very sloppy football, but remained undefeated. And SMU is a 7.5-point favorite there in Dallas against the Pitt Panthers. One more game I want to ask you about before we get out of here, but first we got to clean up some deadwood. Grace Tree Service. Not trying to roll you under the bus, Lance, but we're going to let a listener clean up some deadwood. It is Mike. He said, sorry if you've already corrected this on the air, Lance, but the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 5th, not this past Tuesday.
Okay.
Not sure when you said that.
Yeah, that was... I think it was Tuesday.
Okay. We appreciate Mike for saying that, and we clean it up now, Mike, and thank you to Grace for helping us clean it up.
Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Had the guys out a couple of months ago. They extracted 4 trees from my lot. If you need any of this, make sure, don't wait to get the tree work done. Protect your house and family. Call Grace today, 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code or visit gracetree.com.
Thank you to Grace Tree for helping us clean up the dead wood. Would you have any thought that Kentucky can hang anywhere close to Tennessee? They're a 16.5-point dog in Knoxville. Tennessee going with their blackout uniforms, blackout Halloween uniforms, just a couple days after Halloween is what they're going with there. Kentucky has been wildly erratic this year. They're coming off a double-digit loss to Auburn. They have not played good football. They're a 16.5-point dog at Tennessee.
So Ole Miss statistically has the best defense in the league. I still think Georgia, when everything is clicking, has the best defense. But I think Tennessee might have the second best defense in the SEC. I think the defense is that dominant. I just don't know how Kentucky's going to manufacture any points. Now, on the other side, Tennessee's offense, outside of Dylan Sampson, has not been good.
It has not been. A lot of people are hopeful that Nico woke up a little bit in the second half of the Alabama game. He definitely played better in the second half of the Alabama game than he played in the games leading into that. You actually saw him connect on some of these throws, make good decisions and good plays in the Alabama game.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what a lot of people are hoping, is that he has awakened in the second half of that Alabama game and we're going to get a different Nico. So we'll see. Tennessee, a 16.5-point home favorite. That is a 6:45 SEC Network game there in Knoxville. All right, we'll do one more round around the studio here, Scott. We'll start with you. Scott dressed up as every single Chicago White Sox fan that there is right now. And even begging Jerry to sell the team, Scott. You're still begging Jerry to sell the team.
Please, do it.
You don't even care who buys it. Can't be worse than Jerry.
I really don't.
Tyler, the Pop-Tart, a fantastic Pop-Tart costume. And the thing about that costume is you can never tell who's wearing it.
No.
It's a fantastic Pop-Tart costume. And you've got Pop-Tarts.
And he brought treats.
He brought treats for Pop-Tarts. Now, I noticed nobody has eaten theirs. I may eat mine in just a little bit. I have not had Pop-Tarts in a very long time. Lance
I don't know how I would eat mine right now.
You would not be able to in that costume. Lance is a very, very good Eric Dickerson. I laughed hard when you came around the corner.
Did you?
I did. Like the minute I saw you, I was like, that is absolutely incredible. Very good Eric Dickerson. On your Rams all-time power ranking, where does he rank? Just your favorite Rams players. Favorite Rams, not best Rams, favorite Rams.
Oh, he is going to be borderline top 5. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp in front of him?
Cooper Kupp is probably in front of him. I think Aaron Donald, if I'm just talking about the new era guys.
Yeah.
Going back, Marshall Faulk was there. Jackie Slater and Nolan Cromwell, if I'm going way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Eric Dickerson's, he's close.
Yeah. And I am Eric Wanamaker, who you heard in the Trash Open, a guy that climbed Mount Everest, except I'm gay. I'm blind.
You operate pretty good for being blind, gay.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very hot, too. I'm extremely hot right now, and you're extremely tired of wearing a wig.
I'm
spent.
I don't know what's going on.
What if we had one more hour of this show?
Oh, that wouldn't be good.
I'd probably have a heat stroke.
Yeah, I think I would. I think we would have started costumes a little later in the show if we had an hour left. That's going to do it. Everything we've done, of course, up for podcast. Please go subscribe to our podcast, set your automatic downloads, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate you doing that. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Share with your friends. We always appreciate you guys and all you do for us. And we will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. on the next round.